Hopefully the audio isn't too loud. I haven't done any like background audio in a long time. That and like the first His Story soundtrack is full of ups and downs in terms of audio level, so I'm not sure if it's gonna be probably not. Let me see. Let me bring up the stream real quick, make sure everything's good. TV that one or /1 controller board. I'm gonna have to unmute the audio here for 1 second. So let me just hear this real quick. All right, I think it's fine. I think it's okay. All right. If not, well, hopefully someone shows up and tells me that it's not okay at some point. Then we'll have to just start it from there. Anyways, hi. My name is Benjamin Yoder. And I went to Japan last year. And you might be like, why are you going through your pictures now, a year later? Well, I kind of got tired of people asking me about Japan trip. Like, even when I was on the trip, there's just like a ton of people being like, how's things going in Japan? I'm like, I am saying the same things over and over and over and over and over again. Like, so I didn't really want to, you know, repeat the same stuff, right? All the time. And I didn't really want to talk about it on stream. That, and like, I did have a couple times this year where I tried to like, you know, work out, you know, what I wanted to, or like how I wanted to present this, and I always like overthought it too much. So I was just like, hey, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just get it out of the way. Hey Alex, how's it going? So I was like, finally, let's just shove this through. Is this gonna be good or not? I don't know, man. Don't ask me. The person behind me thinks it'll be good. Good. So, alrighty. So let me go ahead and send out, I just tweeted out real quick. So let me just send one more thing here. Good, good. All right. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of rambling, Alex. If you have any questions at any point or want to talk about anything, let me know. Because I'll probably just keep talking for the most part. So yeah. All right. Yeah. There we go. URLs are hard. Okay. Okay. Cool. Here's my cool graphic that I made this morning. I drew a picture of me. I went and looked at a satellite view of Japan, and I was like, oh, it's like all snowy up here for some reason. I don't know, like. Oh, and one thing I do have set up for this as well is this whiteboard thing. Let me see if I can get it to pop up here real quick. Will it play nice? Here we go. Let's try this. So I should be able to, and this is like part of the reason why I'm doing this stream is to test out stuff like this, because I might use it for another stream. But I can draw. Come on, can I draw? There we go. There's our drawing. So I can draw lines, I can change the size of the thing, so. Colors. Okay, anyways, cool. Cool. So let's get started here. So just to kind of, you know, talk a little bit about a couple things here real quick. One, you know, this was pre-coronavirus, so nothing was really going on at this point. It was like right before that. I actually was pretty lucky that I went when I did, because I don't get the impression many people have been able to make it to Japan otherwise since. The other thing is I will probably talk about some 18+-ish stuff here. So if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff, just be aware that I may be chatting about that kind of stuff at some point. And this is like, also it's worth noting that this is like the first time I traveled anywhere really on my own. There were people I knew there, and there's also some people I met up with that I was aware of. But you know, doing things like setting up the hotel and like buying tickets and figuring out public transportation. I had never done that stuff before, so it was just kind of I think it's important to note that, because you're going to see during the beginning of the trip here that things were kind of a nightmare, or at least I'll let you know, or explain, you know, how they're kind of nightmare. And then the other stuff is like, at the time, I also had an infection. Like, less than 24 hours, I got an infection in my tooth. And I had to get my tooth removed, like, less than 24 hours before my flight. So I got my tooth removed. I was on antibiotics. I also was taking narcotics from the dentist, but I couldn't bring them in Japan. If you don't know, narcotics are very illegal in Japan. So I had to take some narcotics on the plane beforehand, and then was just like, okay, I'm just gonna take all the ones I can, like, before I get there, basically, and then make sure I have nothing there when I get there, basically. And the rest of the trip was on ibuprofen, which worked out well. Like, I'm thankfully, I think, pretty resilient to that kind of stuff. So like, I didn't really have too much trouble overcoming the pain. But I mean, still, you know, having a gaping hole in your mouth on a trip, or at least the beginning of a trip, was not super exciting. So, anyways, the first picture here is just this isn't even Japan. It's just a San Francisco airport. I'm pretty sure I left from San Francisco. And then here's actual Japan. So there's just some in the airport. There's like some pictures of like, or there were some like Nintendo kind of memorabilia things. I don't know what you call it, like travel welcome things, right? I imagine a lot of this was put up in place because of, and I could be wrong, you know, Tokyo Olympics were supposed to happen this year, and they didn't. So I imagine there's a kind of an emphasis to put some stuff up like this. So yeah. Also, I got, this is just the Japan Rail Pass thing. I ended up getting that, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically a pass that lets you go between some major trains and stuff while you're in Japan. Figuring out like this bit here about, you know, this you know, not being valid for the subways and private lanes. I you know, I didn't know the difference between a Japan rail line and a subway or private lane. So you're here lurking? Okay, well, you're just getting, it's gonna be mainly me talking probably, but feel free to let me know, Cobalt, and welcome. Yeah, so the Japanese narc officers, like, my biggest fear was like, hey, I'm gonna mess up in some way and somebody's gonna be suspicious of me, and then they're gonna be like, I don't know. I was like, what if I end up in a situation like, hey, give us a pee sample to make sure you're not on drugs, right? And I was like, I hope not. And then I had like a really awkward conversation with the, I don't know what it's called, customs people or whatever. You know, the people you come into and they're like, hey, why are you here? What are you doing? And I should have just said vacation, but I went into some big long answer because that's just kind of the person I am. I'm just like, I'm here to do all these things. And they're just like, all right, okay. I think it's probably way too much information, but yeah. Anyways, so, you know, and there's gonna be a lot of gaps here in these pictures and stuff because, you know, I was not, you know, taking pictures all the time. But oh man, it was a nightmare trying to get to my hotel because I have no idea how public transportation works. So I was just like lost for about 3 hours in the Tokyo train station thing. Again, I had no idea how this Japan Rail Pass thing worked. I tried to use it at different places, but apparently it was not. You could not use it on the subway, and I was staying in Asakusa, which we had to use the subway to get there, basically. So yeah, but yeah, this is the hotel room that I went to. It was very tiny. I don't think this was really intended for like, hey, you're gonna be here for, you know, multiple days kind of thing. It felt like it was just kind of, you're gonna be here for a night and that's about it. I don't know, but like, you know, the entire room was basically, you know, this space around the edges here. And then the bed itself. The only outlet as well was the outlet behind the TV here, and there's like that little refrigerator that was connected to it, and then the TV. So every time I need to charge my phone, I would unplug. I would unplug the TV to plug my phone in when I went to bed at night. So yeah, and so like basically I'm standing in the middle of the room here, like, you know, facing the other way. So this is the entrance area. I'm basically standing on the bed now. I get little slippers there. So good times. But yeah, it was kind of a nightmare trying to get here. And I was like, I'm very anxiety filled person. So I was just like completely, tired and distraught after all this. I went to the corner store. Oh, there's the bathroom, little tiny bathroom. I actually like this bathroom a lot. This is like a very compact bathroom in a way that I was like, yeah, I'm into this. I don't like my bathroom being big. I just want to be like, hey, sink, toilet, shower. There we go. And then I went to the there's a is it called Larson's across the street? Lawson's. I went to Lawson's across the street and got me some water. Also, there's some pills. Hopping up on pills for my tooth or whatever. So anyways, and then I was like, oh, anime. So the next day I went, was like the first time I went out, and thankfully like I had some friends who were there, and they kind of realized I went through like a nightmare scenario the night before, like trying to find the hotel, and I was like all panicky, and obviously the tooth thing as well. And they kind of took care of me for the first day. So they took me to, I think it's called like Fruglin, I think is where this is. It's like a coffee shop. And it was like the first time I felt comfortable within like, you know, the entire trip. Cause I was like, oh God, I'm with people I know and I know what I'm doing. So, I did not take any pictures of the inside of the coffee shop, but the latest episode of Sal CD. What does CD stand for? Yeah, I struggled really hard that first night. I was debating not leaving the hotel the first day because I was just like, I am so worked up about you know, not knowing what I'm doing, how I get around and things like that. But Jake reached out to me and was like, hey, you should come to this coffee shop with us. And I had plans to go do things this day already, and I actually I'm trying to remember, was this the day that I was coordinating to meet people? I don't think it was. But thankfully I just like spent the whole day with Jake instead. So, but yeah. And we went to, let me see if I can find the temple name for this one. So this was I believe a winter solstice, festival thing we went to. The temple is, let me see. Shrine. It's Anahachi Mangu Shrine is what it was called. So, and this was just like a place where I don't know, it was just for, you know, whatever winter solstice celebration thing. There's like a big line here, and like you'd go up here to get charms right there. There's actually two lines, one where you could go to like the little festival stands area, and then ones where you could go get charms. And unfortunately we were trying to figure out which one was which, and we were like, well, maybe the festival area is the longer line. No, the charm area is the long line, and there's no way to get out of here. So even though we weren't really interested in getting charms, we ended up standing around for like an hour and a half trying to you know, just trying to make it back out to the little festival area rather than the charms. But we did end up getting some charms just because we waited so long. It felt like an hour. It felt like an hour. Maybe it was not an hour, but it felt like it at the very least. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. I did not take a ton of pictures for some of this stuff. We did we went and got sushi that morning as well, and then and we also went to the Sega's Akihabara First Arcade. And I just remember playing like Bishibashi or something. I thought I took a picture of the Bishibashi cabinet, but I couldn't find it afterwards. So, yeah. So that night I actually did meet up with Michelle of Doors and Dungeons podcast, because I had met them through Rowan, who's been on the podcast before. And the one thing that they showed me is that this is actually in Akihabara. It's this little, it's a little shrine that's like shoved in this really weird spot. Let me see. I'm actually be able to show you kind of where this is real quick. Let me see. It's this kind of, it's Hanabusa Inari Shrine. Let me see if I can open up Google Maps, because this might look fairly straightforward. And like from this angle, but when you see like where this is at, it's actually kind of crazy. Is this it? Let me see. Yeah. So let me pull this up here real quick. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this. Let me bring the camera up here real quick. So you see this area here. It's really hard to see. This is where the shrine is. So you like go back. I can't even get back there. You like go down this little like area here, and it's just like this narrow path that you kind of just walk down, and you get like in between the buildings, and there's just a a little shrine hidden away in there. And this shrine is kind of interesting. He was just like, hey, or she was just like, hey, this is a secret shrine that I know about, and you should check it out, kind of thing. And then we went to Beep. Like I had mentioned this before, I was trying to get a PC98 on the trip. Unfortunately, this was a PC98 that they had, and I was just kind of, taking a picture of it to see the model here. But they didn't have any on sale, so I had to come back to it later. But Beep, I didn't end up buying much at Beep. Beep is like a really interesting store if you haven't seen it before. It's like this really tiny, cramped store that specializes in like retro PC hardware and things like that. And they do have like games there and stuff, but it definitely seems focused on more of the more niche stuff kind of thing. And so it wasn't really worth, I think, buying that much from. It's more of something you just kind of go in and look around, unless you're looking for something like really specialized. I think I ended up buying the PC98 mouse I have, as well as the MSX controller I have, but like otherwise, they have a really small inventory of stuff. I think they also have like a Western section, so if you want to go like pick up some Western games or something, like NES games or something, you could get stuff, but I mean that's not super useful to somebody visiting Japan, right? Oops, there we go. The other thing is that what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else. Oh, they have they actually have a pretty extensive PC software selection. So if you want like old PC software for PC98, PC88, they actually have a pretty extensive collection for that. So they're probably worth going to there. Although a lot of it was kind of expensive, and none of it really stood out to me as like something I wanted to pick up. So I ended up going somewhere else for PC games later, which we might talk about later. I don't remember. And I also went to Traders that night as well, which were the only picture I have of the Traders is I was like, look at these Xbox 360 games, and specifically, also I did not know Clannad was on 360. This is a nice and blurry picture. What was it? It was something specifically I wanted to show my friend when I took this picture. It was like some movie tie-in game that was somewhere here that I saw. I can't even find it. There's The Simpsons. But anyways, I just thought it was dumb to look at some 360 games. So then I went to go to like a hot pot place. It was actually the first time I've been to a hot pot place kind of thing. I mean, I assume these things are within the US and stuff, so you can find these, but basically you just like have this little pot. You put vegetables and meat on this is like a split pot, so you could do 2 different broths or whatever, and then you could cook meat and vegetables and stuff like that. So I enjoyed that. That was pretty good. I'm not much of a food person, so I will probably not talk about food that much while I was in Japan, just because it's just not, I don't know. I ate food and was like, yeah, this is food. I indeed am eating this thing. This was not really something I particularly needed to pursue, but the hot pot stuff was pretty good. I wouldn't mind doing another hot pot thing. Pumpkin in there was actually really good. It's like these thin slices of pumpkin that you would boil in there and cook. That was actually really good. And this is just on the way back to my hotel. I was staying, I think I mentioned it earlier, I was staying in Asakusa, which was kind of a nice place, and I have some pictures later as well that I'll be showing, but it's like a nice, I don't know, it feels like a nice mix of stuff. It's got like a lot of art, but it also has like, very distinct, I don't know, building structure in some way. It feels like a mix of modern and old at the same time. There's a cute post bin. I don't know why there's a panda there. I think this might have been by like an amusement park or something. And I think it's an amusement park that was in that one anime, Rental Girlfriend or Girlfriend Rental, whatever it was, Rent a Girlfriend, something there. More TV. So when I was in Japan, oh man, there's a good picture. When I was in Japan, people were like, hey, you should watch Japanese TV, and it actually was not really that exciting. But here's Princess Connect. I think that's what that is. I realized this night that I had like a robe in my bedroom, so I wore the hot robe, and got me a Pocari Sweat as well. Very important. Little rapper, hello, Happy Bear. I don't know why I have that picture in there. When I was at, I believe Traders is where I was at earlier, I picked up some Hunex games. I was trying not to buy many video games early on in the trip because I didn't want to like carry a bunch of stuff with me. But because these are Hunex games, I was like, hey, why not? Let me just pick up these few next games. So I got Dear My Son. Unfortunately, I did find a collector's edition of Dear My Son later, and I decided to pass up on it because I already bought the standard edition. Nope, not Rope. I wouldn't be surprised if I said Rope earlier. But I didn't pick up the collector's edition Dear My Son later, although it was quite a bit more expensive. I think it was like $20 something, where this is was just 400 yen. So pick that up. And then Sparkling Feather. The traders I went to actually had a decent PCFX collection there. I forgot you guys can't see my mouse, so I need to make sure I draw here. It has a decent like PCFX collection area. I think most stores I went to had like at least 5 to 10 PCFX games, which was kind of nice. We ran out of First Kiss story music already. Let's play it again. And yeah, so it was decent, decent stuff. I don't know. I bought this. That is really it. This is Sensoji Temple. I actually went with my friend here as well this morning. And it was kind of interesting because this seems to be very much like a Chinese tourist destination, because most of the time I heard Mandarin instead of Japanese while I was here. It was kind of, I don't know, there's a lot of things where you go to temples and shrines in Japan, and I always felt like really awkward because I'm not much of a religious or spiritual person. So a lot of times it's like, hey, people are doing stuff here. Like, there's these people here in the crowd here, they're like taking this smoke and like putting it on themselves. They kind of like swapped it on themselves, and I don't know, I just don't really know what's going on. So it's just kind of interesting to see people do that. People like putting these candles on these like sticks, or the one you see in anime all the time, like people throwing the coins in the thing, then praying or pulling the bell. It's just like I don't know what this is about, and I don't know, it feels a little awkward being there when you're very uncertain about what is happening. I imagine it's probably similar to, if you don't know what Christianity is and you saw people, I don't know, trying to think of what would be weird, right? Eating bread at church or something, or something. I don't know. I imagine it's like any other kind of thing like that. So this is like another little temple that was off to the side of the Sensoji Temple. I like this place better because it was definitely less crowded. And there's like this little thing. I saw actually quite a few of these in Japan where it's like there's these little like hand cup things, and I guess the point is to kind of like, I don't know, if wash your hands with them or something or the other. I don't know. You do something with them, but I saw quite a few of these at different temples and stuff. Here we go. Here's some instructions. All right. Take cup thing. Cup. Drink? I don't know. Pour water in hand, drink it, and then more water in hand, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it was something. I can confirm. There it is from far away. Oh yeah, this was really cute. I saw a couple of these things. I don't know if this is something that happens like frequently, but they like would draw, or they put little like knit caps on these little statues and stuff, and like have little like bib kind of things. I thought that was pretty cute. So this was a little like I forget what it was. It's like a little dango kind of thing. It has like strawberries, like a mango puree. This Sensoji Temple has a lot of just like little snacks you can kind of pick up and eat, which was kind of nice. So the big scary thing here was these guys, these little boys here. These little boys, I mentioned earlier, I had my tooth ripped out, and they were like, hey, don't eat anything small and hard like seeds. I'm pretty sure sprinkles are in the category of seeds. And I was like, this is probably a bad idea when I got it. So I tried very hard to kind of eat to the right side of my mouth and be like, there's a lot of times where I was eating stuff in Japan, I was like on the side to make sure, like, if the gravity kept everything down, right? When I was getting sushi earlier in one of the previous days, like, I took one of the recommended things, or like the sushi's, recommended, or the chef's recommended sushi or whatever. And it was like some kind of eel. And it was actually pretty good. I would not, I've never really eaten eel before. But it was like, I was sitting there watching it, and they're putting it together. It's like, okay. And then the last thing they did was like put some seeds on top, and I was like, oh no. And like, you know, I don't know how to communicate. Like, I don't know Japanese. So it's one of those things that I was just like, I do I do the socially awkward thing of like, actually I can't eat this now because there's seeds on it, and how do I communicate that? Or do I just, you know, eat it because I don't want to make a scene with this person that I met and will never see again? So sure enough, I ate the sushi. It just was like, I hope to dear God I don't get any seeds shoved in my gum hole. So this is actually a picture Oscar took. He sent this to me and was like, hey, let's meet up here. This is some kind of, I forget what this is, like a bread restaurant or something. Or not bread restaurant, but like a cake shop or something. I don't know what this is. It's like I think it's like Demon Girl Next Door or something like that. I just thought the winter coats were really cute. This one in particular I liked quite a bit. But yeah, so I met up with Oscar at this time. It's the first time I ever met Oscar. And we just kind of walked around and looked at a bunch of stuff. I am trying to remember. It's kind of hard to remember when I really like started looking at Akihabara, because I kind of ended up in Akihabara the first night, but I was lost. So I didn't really look at Akihabara. I was just there and stuck. And then the second night I went with, I believe, my friend there. And he kind of took me around to different shops or whatever, and then I met with Oscar, and he took me to different like my friend on the previous day took me like to game shops and stuff typically, where Oscar and me, we kind of went and looked at like anime figures and stuff like that around, and it's like these little like cabinets, and I'm trying to remember, I think it was like people could rent out those cabinet spaces and sell their figures or something is maybe what I'm recalling. But yeah, I also made a fun, awkward scene where I dropped my money in here. It's a good time. I had multiple times where I dropped my money because I'm great at paying for things. So, this is just a Bang Dream thing I saw in the what's it called? Train station. I don't. So this was probably, you know, I've definitely probably seen Bang Dream before. Hey Zero, how's it going? How you doing? I probably have seen Bang Dream before this, but this was the first time I really noticed what Bang Dream was, because it was kind of everywhere. I didn't realize Bang Dream was particularly popular. I just thought it was like another idle game kind of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of these like little pop-up stand-up things in train stations and stuff, like way more than I kind of expected. And a lot of these like capsule machines back here. So doing good. I am just going through these pictures from a year ago. Nothing particularly fancy. I've been keeping busy actually right now. I've been working on a lot of things, so. The comeback of the stick figure in the YouTube thumbnail. Is that what that showed up in there? I did not mean for that to show up, but I'm glad it did. So yeah. So that was, I think that was just after I met with Oscar, and we kind of split up there. We got like a Christmas cake kind of thing. Nakano Broadway. I do not have any pictures of Nakano Broadway. So this is when I met with that manga artist that is the artist of Scum of the Brave. And she was like, hey, let me show you around Nakano Broadway or whatever. And I don't really have, like, I don't know. I'm not great at taking pictures, so a lot of times I went pretty long chunks of time without taking them. But basically, this place was kind of interesting. It's like a little shopping mall, and it just kind of has like a lot of stuff in it. But more specifically, it had like a lot of like toys and things like that. It felt like, and some of the places had like, you know, older like vintage toys and things like that. So you got to see like a lot of dolls and things like that. And they did have newer stuff too. We got Frozen there, Disney stuff. But there's like Sailor Moon and they got some Barbie stuff going on, Ghibli. So it was fun, but it was definitely one of those things that I was focused on the person I was with more than anything. So it's all kind of a blur what happened. I never came back here on my own. So I never really got a chance to, you know, fully look at it myself, but it seemed very like, tinkery, or like, mostly if you want to see like toys and statues and things like that, you know, you probably wouldn't buy any games here or anything. There was like a bookstore as well. So yeah, I'm reminiscing of pre-pandemic times. So, so yeah. Here's just a picture of Akihabara. I think at this point I was just like, hey, I don't have a picture of Akihabara, so I should probably do that. I never heard of the Mulan series of stores before. There was actually a surprising number of these. Although I don't think I think I only got one game out of them, and it was pretty late in the trip. So, but yeah, there's maid cafes. Maid stuff is kind of weird, like so when you're out on these walkways, I don't know if we can see any here. I mean, I didn't take any pictures of any across the thing, but there'd be basically like, these girls that were, standing around at the street corners with flyers and stuff like that, and they'd like come over and like start asking you to go to their, maid cafe or whatever, right? And I don't know, it was really awkward. And it definitely was one of those things that, like, as somebody who is kind of nicer to, like, spam call people than I should and things like that, it definitely was one of those things that, like, I didn't want to be just a complete asshole to them and ignore them, but I didn't want to talk to them either. So, like, I was trying to, like, get past them without saying too much, but yeah, it's one of those things. At this point, I think this day, I don't know, when you're like on your own, there's no, like, you're just walking around by yourself. I don't know, it's a little weird to have somebody run up to you and start speaking in like broken English or whatever and be like, hi, I guess. So yeah. The manga artist lady I was with earlier also was like, hey, Akihabara is pretty creepy, and I was like, I get it, I understand. Like, I didn't. It's one of those things that, like, yeah, it's for sure there are creepy things about Akihabara, like the maid thing. But also, like, it's like because there's such a language gap between me and them, it's like we didn't really get too deep into it. I did find her book though at one of the stores though, so in Akihabara. So like, cool. I already have this book, so I didn't need to purchase it, but I don't know. It was fun to see it in store. Only 620 yen, so I don't know what any of these other things are though. Like, I don't know. It's also worth mentioning that like a lot of these bookstores I'd go into, and it's kind of interesting because like all these buildings are like really tall, right? Like you can see all these floors, and so like you'd go into like the Mulan store here, and there's just like these super tight areas, and you go up a bunch of floors and stuff. And like every floor is kind of a different thing. Like here's the boys love floor. Here's the I don't know, other floor thing, and you always have like up here at the top, I forget, you can't see my mouse cursor, at the top here it's like, hey, here's the porno porno floor kind of thing. I don't know specifically for Mulan that's the case, but that usually would be the case. And I don't know, when you went into those erotic floors, it just, so much of it was just like just boobs on a wall that it's just like at some point you don't really, it was really hard to digest what you were looking at a lot of times. Just like there's just so much naked ladies on these walls that I don't know what to do about this. So I didn't really enjoy spending time in the more erotic sections of those bookstores. I'm somebody who's very much like, hey, erotic stuff is, art as well kind of thing, right? But at least without anything to like guide me on what I would want to look for, I just would kind of, walk through the floor and be like, okay, that sure is something. So stuff like this. Club Titus, Akihabara's Keepery. I mainly just took a picture of this because Titus. I don't know. Final Fantasy X. Check out Titus's club. Stuff in Japan. I don't know if I'd say it's really cheap, but yeah, it is like, you don't have to pay shipping fees and stuff like that. I mean, I got that. This Kind of the Brave book was not very expensive to purchase as either. So, in the U.S., so it was not a particularly expensive book. So these are all pictures from my phone. Yeah, I did not bring any kind of camera or anything like that. So I like these little things. They're like little tiny cabs. I was told recently by someone on Twitter that there's an arcade near me, or like a crane game place near me that actually has these tiny little or crane game things. But I loved how these looked, and I loved how tiny the prizes were inside of them. So a lot more crane games in Akihabara than I kind of expected. You just kind of go to some places and there'll just be like 3 floors of crane game stuff. So I made my friend play Densha de Go for me because I was like, man, I hate Densha de Go, but I want to see Densha de Go, I think 5. I don't hate Densha de Go. I don't know how to play Densha de Go. So I was like, hey, can you play this for me? Because I don't want to play this, but I do want to see it. There's actually like some kind of like when you moved the lever around, it was actually kind of chunky in a way that felt really nice. Again, I did not actually play it, but you know, this is like one of the ones where it's like a walk-in cab, so you like walk into it, kind of thing. I got this from the Lawsons. Thought it was really cute. Meat buns or whatever. I also really like my bag here. I thought it was a really cute bag. I didn't get this in Japan, but I love how this looks. Unfortunately, I'll get into what happened to that bag later. And then there's Calpis. Is this the soda variety? I don't think it is. I think that just says Calpis water. If my Japanese is still decent enough. So yeah. I like drinks in Japan. I like Royal Gold. I like Calpis soda. I like a lot of stuff that I had in Japan. I much preferred. I don't know. I enjoyed a lot of drinks. I bought this Hypnos MC calendar because it was in a 7-Eleven, and I was like, I don't know, man, I gotta get this. Like the fact that I saw this in like a corner store was like a silly thing. So I was like, I gotta purchase this. So I bought it. It was like $20. It was not cheap. I did keep it on my wall all this year. You know, we're getting to the end of its lifespan, so you know, it's been there. Mad Trigger Crew is the only true group of the Hypnos MC. This was actually kind of a nice thing to like have and know, the Hypnos MC stuff, because occasionally somebody would ask me about like what my favorite anime series were, and I'm not a big anime fan, so I'm just like, or like I know things that like nobody Hypmic, yeah, or like they'd ask me about an anime and be like, I like this anime, and like I don't know what that is. So if I could always say, oh, I like this, they were like, oh, I know what that is. So I was like, cool. So I used that as a very big crutch during this trip. I also bought a copy of Soberdringer at Traders. My goal this trip was to buy all the Monolith Soft DS games. So that was my goal during this trip. I believe I got everything. Well, with the exception of Dragon Ball Z, that I'm still just gonna get the US copy, but all the Japanese only Monolith Soft DS games. So this is just the music video I saw on TV that I absolutely love. Unfortunately, it's not available online. There's like clips online of the music video, but I can't find the full thing, but it's an amazing music video. This is just a picture of Asakusa stuff. Like I said earlier, this is kind of what I like about this place, is that it feels like somewhat modern, but it also has like some cool, I don't know, cool stuff going on. I like how it looks, I guess. This is pretty early morning, so there weren't a ton of people out early morning for what felt like early morning in Japan. I feel like if you went out at like 8 to 9 a.m. in Japan, it was just like mostly dead, weirdly enough. So I went back to Sensoji Temple the second day. So this was the first day that I was just by myself, essentially. I believe it was also the day that I was going to Osaka, but I need to kill some time until I went on my train for it. So I went back here because it was a safe place for me to return to. It was like, okay, I could come here. I know what this is. I can kind of like explore some things on my own. And kind of one thing that I always have to let people know on trips is that usually if I'm talking to you on a trip, it means I'm not paying attention to what's going on around me. So, you know, I was hanging out with my friend at this temple the day before, but I wasn't really paying that much attention to the temple because I get engaged with the person I'm with more so than anything else. So like I might pay attention to the things they point out to me, but I don't kind of take everything in. So a lot of this trip, it was like me coming back to things that somebody showed me and me just trying to like absorb it on my own kind of thing. So and then I had nothing to do, or at least nothing that I felt comfortable doing before I had to go on my Osaka trip. So I was like, let me go play some Aikatsu. So I played a bunch of Aikatsu. If you don't know what Aikatsu is, it is a fashion rhythm title, similar to like Prepara, Love and Berry, somewhat similar to a Tokadol, but very, very different overall. Hey, Mr. T, no problem. I was glad. Well, the developer helped me, so I'm glad it worked out. Yeah, I reached out to him and he's like, I think this is the file that's missing from Undead Syndrome. So yeah, I might go ahead and buy the PC copy myself just to be like, here you go, thanks for helping me kind of thing. And like, you know, it'd be nice to. It seems like the PC version of Undead Syndrome is actually somewhat different, strangely enough. So I don't know, it might be worth sitting down. Like that game's not very long, so it might be fun to kind of sit down and play through it again. Anyways, so yeah, Aikatsu. And essentially, what it is, it's a fashion rhythm game. So you dress up your character. So you put on these outfits. You get like collectible cards. So this card is what the machine's gonna spit out at me. When I'm done, you can like select one card. You get like on every playthrough, you basically get one card you can print out, and then you can pay some, and I think another 100 yen to print out additional cards. It's kind of like a loot drop system. So when you finish a song, they'll give you like a pack of 4 or 5 cards, and they'll like make you choose between them. But these kind of games, there you go. So like they kind of drop out of these holes here. But like Aikatsu and Prepara are definitely a bit simpler versus like an Otoko doll. It is very much just dress up your character, try to match it for the event that you're doing. I actually don't even know if Aikatsu asks you to match it for the event. I'd imagine it probably does. But I don't remember ever like really going out of my way to match any kind of like event text or whatever. Yeah, so you dress up your character and you get like a bonus modifier based off what you dress your character in, and then you dance and do like basically a 3-button minigame. Let me see. Can we see the actual machine here? I don't think we can. That is a nice outfit. I like this outfit. Anyways, so yeah, but it's like a 3-button rhythm game, and I enjoyed it. And at this point, I hadn't found an Otoko doll machine, so I mainly focused on Aikatsu. I think the big thing when you're in Japan is that you want to focus on particular games, because most games have the intention that you're going to come back and play them again rather than all at once. Possible future stream for Undead Syndrome. I'll think about it. I think if we were to do a stream of Undead Syndrome, it'd probably be Undead Syndrome 2 specifically, just because I never beat Undead Syndrome 2, unfortunately. So maybe I'll think about it. Just a shrine that I found. They're like, hey, this is something. This is something you can look at. I lost my chat. There we go. Got my chat back up. I think this was just in Asakusa. I was just killing some time before I went on the train for Osaka. And this is when I got on the train. Before you get on the train, they're like, hey, you can go buy some stuff at this food place. So I bought these little like meat pies. I think they had snowmen on it, which I thought was very cute, which is a big part of why I bought them. but they had, I think, some kind of beef and peas inside. Weirdly enough, I don't really think of peas when I think of like Japanese foods, but I believe I confirmed they were peas inside of them. So yeah, it was all right. This actually gave me some stomach trouble, I remember, after I ate it. So yeah. Then I rode a train. Oh yeah, by the way. All right. Then I rode a train, and yeah, this is pretty much what riding the train through from Tokyo to Osaka looked like almost the entire way through. They put me in the window seat because like, oh, you want to see Mount Fuji? I did not recognize Mount Fuji when I passed by it, so if I was supposed to see Mount Fuji, I did not see it. I'm sure if they put me in the seat where they're like, hey, you can see Mount Fuji from here, it probably was something I could potentially see, but I didn't particularly see it. This is when I arrived in Osaka. I don't know what this is. It's like a cinema area. I don't know if there's anything else here. A lot of these places in Osaka had like pachinko parlor kind of thing, so maybe it's a pachinko parlor kind of thing too. But it was like just like, anime girl tree thing. I don't recognize these characters in particular. Namba Honkan, what it says. But yeah, Christmas tree. We will see those girls multiple times. One more time. This is my hotel. I got a 2-bedroom hotel here, but oh man, it was not great. These walls were super thin. Like this is the street, outside this window here. It felt like this wall did not exist in terms of sound. Like, I'm not somebody who's particularly picky about sound levels. I will sleep through most things, but it felt like I was literally sleeping like on the sidewalk. So I did not see the big mountain. I did not see Giant Mountain Man. So I did not watch a movie. I just walked in to see this thing and then left. So they got like little cat things on their heads. I didn't realize that. So, but yeah, I did not watch any movies, unfortunately. I wanted to go see a Kabuki theater thing, but I never got around to it, unfortunately. So yeah, these this is where I spent the entire Osaka trip or whatever. Oh yeah, they had like a thing where you could rent a bike, but it says rent Bic, which I liked. I thought that was funny. Made me think of the pens. Rent some Bics. It's a McDonald's advertisement. My goal was not to eat any fast food for the majority of the trip. I always have people say, similar to like, hey, you got to watch Japanese TV. Always be like, oh, you got to go to McDonald's in Japan. It's like, I don't really want to go to McDonald's. Like, I don't know. But this looks fine. I thought the weirdest thing about it is like, hey, anime ladies on this McDonald's ad. That was the weirdest thing. But yeah, I mean, this looks good. I would eat that, but it just was like not what I wanted to do. What does that say? Gurakoro. I don't know what that is. I'm not even gonna try to read Japanese on stream pressure. Oh yeah, sumo wrestling. I actually saw a sumo wrestling match here in Las Vegas. It was not like an official match or anything. It was actually two people in two different weight categories, actually. So, you know, it wasn't really fair per se. But they did one for, what's that con called? Is it Otakon? Otakon? I think that's what it's called. They had one here in Las Vegas, and you could watch sumo wrestlers. That was kind of fun. It's like the sound of two sumo wrestlers ramming into each other is a very distinct sound. Like it's just like this slapping noise. It's like the most skin slapping noise you've ever heard in your life. Crab cake stuffed with Gouda cheese could be. This is just a place I passed by. I believe when I was just kind of walking around. This is by Den Town, which is kind of like Osaka's Akihabara, but a lot smaller, definitely less flashy, and a lot more space though. Like Akihabara, all the stores are super cramped. Osaka, not so much. If you're claustrophobic, don't go to Akihabara. Go to Den Town because you have a lot more space. Most importantly, this had a Aikatsu promotion going on at this time. I think that's what the next pictures are. Yeah, so they got like this Aikatsu picture here by this whatever this Dragon Ball Z game is. Probably collectible card game, Dragon Ball Z game. Yeah, sure enough. Look at those cards. A lot of collectible card games in Japan for Kimono friends. Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Is this Bulma or is this just like some lady that looks like Bulma? The Dragon Ball theme. Is it Goku? Who can say? They all look like Goku. No, I don't know. Actually, I assume this is... I don't know who this is. I assume this is Goku. Like, if you're going to put someone on the front, it's going to be Goku, right? That's Goku. I recognize that Goku there. Anyways. They had a bunch of acrylic stands for Aikatsu, which was fun. Unfortunately, these were mostly the newer Aikatsu characters. So I particularly like Aoi. And she was not really represented here. She's actually right here on this one. This is like a very old poster actually, because this is like very off model for what she looks like today. At least it looks very old. So there she is. That's my character. That's what I like. Play more Aikatsu. And then like you could like leave cards here. I don't really know the purpose of this. There's quite a few things where you could leave cards. With the Tokudoll as well. So I'm not really sure what the thought process is behind leaving cards behind. So Otacon? Maybe Otacon, yeah. I did not karaoke, unfortunately. I'm not much of a singer, unfortunately. That, and I was mostly by myself, so I don't think there's a lot of reason to do karaoke. I never saw this one. That's a cute outfit. Okay. Oh, they ported that game to the Switch. Okay, that's interesting. That's right, it did come to the Switch. You're right. That is Gogeta? Okay. Take a card, leave a card. Well, the thing is you know, you could take a card, but like these, and I could be wrong for Aikatsu, but like at least with the Tokudoll, these QR codes are locked to your character. So it's, you know, if you scan this, you're basically playing with somebody else's character, which is kind of a neat, fun thing. But I don't know. It is kind of a thing. Maybe it's a take a card, leave card kind of thing. Maybe if I translated these instructions, I could figure out what that was. But yeah. Oh, they had a bunch of cardboard cutouts there. So I don't know. This was like a temporary pop-up shop kind of thing. Oh, this is Christmas Day. So I went shopping in Din Town that night, and I got myself a Tawari no Palm. So I got myself some sexy men for Christmas. I still have not played this game. I should play this game at some point, but not yet. I mean, it is a Japanese man sim thing, so it's probably gonna take some effort to figure out. This is the deluxe edition. I think there is downloadable codes inside, but I bought this used, so very likely I do not have the download codes for this, and I'll have to buy it separately if I want to. This is Christmas morning, and most of Christmas morning, my family wanted me to talk to them, so I spent most of my Christmas morning on the phone, for better or for worse. So I think it was probably around noon or something. I went to this temple. Let me see. Do I have the name of this temple? Let me just check. Not here. Whoops. Lost my thing. I think I might have the name of the temple at the end of these pictures, but yeah, these are kind of interesting because these are like you know, I don't know, Buddha statue kind of things. They're made out of the ash of like 200,000 dead people or something ridiculous like that. So this is all built with the ashes of dead people, which is kind of a crazy thing. And another thing where they like put little knit caps on these little statues and things like that. And then this big old, I assume, graveyard kind of thing. I did a lot of graveyard perusing, and I cut a lot of those pictures out because I didn't want to, you know, like there's a lot of them. I took a lot of graveyard pictures or whatever. It's like little fake squirrel on this drain pipe kind of thing. I don't know. That's a guy. Okay, this is a map of the place at least. Does this say where this is? I do not see the name for this. Let me see if I can pull up the name here real quick. Let me see. I think it's gonna be under here. Nope. Is it here? Sorry, one moment. Ishinji Temple is what this was. So. But yeah, that was the map. This was, I very much went to because it was a iconic place in, Yakuza. It's, Dotonbori? No, it's not Dotonbori. Where was this? What is this place called? I am blanking on what this place is called, dang it. But yeah, this is a place that you could kind of go to in, Yakuza Street, is it? Let me see if I have the name of this place is real quick. It might be on my phone. Unfortunately, it's been a year, so I just gotta make sure. Let me see, notepad. I wrote, so my sister when I was in Japan made me write a bunch of journal entries, which kind of took up a lot of time, but at the same time was useful for, here we go. First time it was useful for recollection at the very least. It's not Dotonbori, I know that. Where is this? Okay, there's me talking about handsome anime men. I don't remember what this place is called. Anyways, it's in Yakuza 2. Yeah, I don't have the name of this place in my notes here, so I may not have a particular place, but it was a place I went to in Yakuza 2. Or you go to Yakuza 2, and I was like, I guess I'll go here. This part was not particularly exciting. There's a little, you know, Shaun the Sheep thing riding around on a circle thing. I took this picture because my friend's wife is a big Shaun the Sheep fan. His entire back was incredibly dirty from falling over, but he just like sat there went in circles or whatever. I also played like a little crane game here and got laughed at by a bunch of girls because I did not succeed. So yeah. I didn't use this because this is really expensive, but I did this at Nakano Broadway. It's like a little what are they called? The like little, what are they? Not charms or whatever. What are they called? It's like the little fortune kind of things, right? So basically, she would go back. Go back. She would go and like turn, like you'd put money in. She would turn around, walk inside this little. Oopsie. Walk inside this little. There we go. Walk inside this little door here, and then she'd come back out with a little scroll that she'd dump into here, and then you take it out. But this one in particular was like 500 yen. The one at Nakano Broadway was like 100 yen or something. So this seemed ridiculously expensive. But I didn't take a picture at Nakano Broadway, so I took a picture of it here. It's a cute little thing. Her hair's a little messy compared to the one I actually used as well. Yeah, I took out any pictures that would be erotic. I either censored or covered up, so because of Twitch things. Yeah, I played Golgo 13. So this is the beginning of an adventure. So I went to that place, wherever that was. I unfortunately just can't remember the name. But I just kind of started walking down this one road, and it was labeled as Deep Osaka Street or whatever. And when I was going down there, I found this Golgo 13 machine. I played a little bit of that. I was really bad at it. I was not very good at it. But also, what you can't see over here, and I don't think either I didn't take a picture or I didn't include it. There were like, this is very much like, hey, you're in adult land kind of thing, because there's like capsules that were like 18 plus, and like they definitely seem like, you know, you would get something lewd out of them and stuff, and they're like blacked out glass and things like that. So yeah. Anyway, so and also I was going down here and I found an arcade, and there's this really cool game, which apparently recently found out this is based off Dreamcast hardware. So this game is Dolphin Blue, and it's like a very like Metal Slug style game, and how it plays and feels. And I actually really love this game a lot from what I played. And recently it became playable on Dreamcast if you have an ODE for the SD card adapter, basically. So if you replace your disc drive with the SD card, you can now play this game on a Dreamcast, which I believe it's arcade only. So that's good that they found a way for you to do that real quick. Let me see if I can fix my my thing here real quick. There we go. Okay. Well, you can now on what's it called? Dreamcast, Mr. T. I don't know if it's used panty vending machine. It unfortunately, I either didn't take a picture or I felt it smart not to include a picture on stream. One or the other. So yeah. I was surprised I found this. So when I was a kid, I read a series called Del Toro Quest, the book series, and randomly at some point they made an anime out of Del Toro Quest. As you can see, copyright 2006. When I was down Deep Osaka Street, I found this Del Toro Quest capsule machine that was completely like sun faded. Like the entire front of the capsule machine was just bleached out. So yeah, it was kind of weird to find, and I don't know if it's just been there since 2006 and full of things. I don't know why they still have Del Toro Quest toys in there, but I found that and I got that, and I got a little Del Toro Quest man. So I've never watched the anime. I've debated getting the DS game at some point, maybe. So yeah, Deep Osaka Street is maybe my favorite part of the entire trip. So as I started walking down here, you know, it got very, very much less touristy and just kind of a lot of karaoke bars, with a lot of drunk old men in there singing, and I kind of was just like into walking down this street and just hearing a bunch of old drunk men singing, you know, random music and stuff like that, and you kind of like see them in the windows and things like that. It was kind of a fun thing. I don't know, it just felt very like more down to earth in a way that I really liked. I'm not a huge fan of like very touristy things, so I enjoyed it. There's more karaoke bars down here. So this game center Sure was something. Um, this, so I will warn you, and I'll get into this towards the end. Deep Osaka Street is maybe not the greatest place to go, but I love Deep Osaka Street, but maybe not for the greatest reasons. So this is a game center I found, and the entire game center was just full of strip mahjong machines. I went in there, and it was all old men, all smoking, and it was, I just kind of walked in and kind of looked around and left. And there was actually one young girl who was there who seemed very confused by the fact that I was in there. And she just kind of waved to me. But yeah, it was just like a bunch of old men playing strip mahjong games. And I think there might have been a Metal Slug game in the corner or something like that. So I thought it was kind of interesting to go in this place. Anyways, so as you get further down here, there's like a pachinko parlor, and then also there's this park here that had, I guess, I don't know, I'm guessing this is China related stuff. Like, here's this tiger, it has a tiny flag. There's Winnie the Pooh with bottles wrapped up on him. It's like this fenced off area with minions. This chicken has like a beer can in his mouth or something. So yeah, it's a place, all right. So why you maybe don't want to go to Deep Osaka Street is, and I didn't really take pictures of this or anything. I think as I got further down the line, I realized it was kind of just a place where kind of homeless people hanged out, and there was like a homeless park thing with people in like a line. So I was wondering, like, maybe this is like a bunch of less fortunate people, you know, just kind of spending their money on booze and karaoke because, you know, what else do you do at, you know, noon, I guess, if you don't have a job or something, right? So maybe, you know, I never felt unsafe going down Deep Osaka Street, but it was definitely, once you get to the end, you're like, oh, this is making a lot more sense as why this feels a lot more, run down. I personally am somebody who likes feeling like I'm seeing people in kind of their daily life, so I like kind of being in places that feel a lot more real. But it did feel a little insensitive for me to be down there and just like exploring when it's like, hello, here's a homeless park kind of thing. So yeah, that's maybe the one thing about Deep Osaka Street. But I did enjoy going down Deep Osaka Street a lot personally, but I cannot say anything about Deep Osaka Street. Yeah, it's probably some kind of protest art or something. It was all locked off or whatever. So, and I went to Mega Don Quixote. I think this is Mega Don Quixote, right? I believe it is a Mega Don Quixote. Which, if you don't know, it's like a big, like, I guess, department store filled with like kind of random stuff. I don't really know how to describe it other than it's just kind of like a go and you can get like luggage, you can get, you know, snacks, you can get kitchen stuff if you want to. There's actually a Don Quixote in Asakusa that I went to a couple times as well. I don't think I took any pictures of it, but this was like a large version of it, I believe. I seem to recall this being a Mega Don Quixote, but that doesn't look like it says Mega on there, so or on the sign there, so I'm not 100% sure if it was Mega or not. The other one definitely was not Mega, so or at least this one was bigger than the other one. So all right. Oh, this is just a sign I saw. It was very far away, so it's very blurry, the picture. It just says, "Oh, my burger. Oishi." I forget where this is. Let me see if I have pictures. This is, yeah, Osaka Shinsekai or whatever. I did not go in the Hitachi Tower or whatever, but there's like this little walkway down here that I kind of explored, and there's like an arcade, so that's where I played this Loop on the Third shooting on rails thing. You know, they got Super Mario Brothers right there. I also found Jackie Chan. So I was very excited about that. I've played the arcade Jackie Chan. I've specifically played Jackie Chan 2 quite a bit with one of my friends for a joke, more or less, because Jackie Chan 2 is a very interesting game. It's interesting in the fact that like it's very similar to like Dragon Ball Z, where it's like there's just a lot of Jackie Chan in the Jackie Chan fighting game. There are unique and original characters in Jackie Chan, and I think a lot of them from this original game actually show up in the second game, yeah, a lot of these characters are the same, but they're like zombie versions of these characters, I think, or at least they're like really weird colors. And then they added like a bunch of Jackie Chans that you could play as in the second game as well. Are any of these Jackie Chan? I don't think any of these are Jackie Chan, so you might have to unlock Jackie Chan in Jackie Chan 1. Surprisingly enough. There's actually a, I stumbled across a video of, I think, this dude here and this guy. Is that the guy? I think it was a white dude. So I think it was these two, and they were like at a some kind of convention thing or something, sparring with each other as a promotion for either Jackie Chan 1 or Jackie Chan 2. I did not eat Oh My Burger. I am sorry. Burgers were not particularly something that I was looking to eat while I was in Japan. Like I said earlier, I'm not like big into food stuff, but I did try to make sure I was eat things that were somewhat, you know, not normal for what I would eat, I guess, or like not something I just, you know, get whenever I want in the U.S. So, unfortunately, I didn't ever like really spend a ton of time in this Osaka area. I got some takoyaki here, and then pretty much left right after this. This is just a cat. I like cat. This cat was petrified because a ton of people showed up and started walking around. There's actually 2 cats in here that were just hanging out back here, and I was watching them, and then one came up here and then ran out, and then this guy came out a little bit later and was like, and then a bunch of people found them. Here's Metal Gear Solid line of sight there. So yeah. Jackie Chan 2, you can select all the Jackies. Okay, that sounds accurate. Oh, this is a little doll I won. So this is actually the doll I was going for at that crane game before when I messed it up the first time, and those girls laughed at me. But I did get it the second time, so I proved myself. They just weren't there to see it. This is you know, like I said earlier, this is Christmas Day, so I got myself a little Christmas cake from a local grocery store. The weird thing about going to the local grocery store there was, I think you're supposed to use a basket even if you're just getting one item. I felt really awkward because I was the only person in line that had just this cake in my hands rather than a whole basket with one item in it. So I was like, I probably should have had a basket, but yeah, it's a little like, you know, Christmas cake. I think this is like a lemon frosting kind of thing that was on top. You know, it's a good size as well. You know, I assume this is to serve 2 kind of thing. I recently bought a Christmas cake this year, but it was like, you know, the smallest I could find was like serve 3 people, and it made me feel gross eating all of it. So, burger meat directly into the gum hole. Yeah, make sure they like just pack it in there. It'll heal in with all the other flesh in there. So. Oh, so this, so yeah, so the whole point of this trip was to go to Comiket, and I needed to buy a Comiket catalog, while I was in Japan. I didn't know what I was buying, and I ended up with all this stuff, because apparently whatever Comiket thing I bought came with a bunch of extra stuff for some reason. So I have all these like lewd books now that I did not really intend to get. I got some duplicates too. I believe this one is also in this pack here. And this is not the end of it, as I'll show you later, because a whole other thing happened. But yeah, it was confusing because I went to the store and, you know, I probably should have bought it when I was in Tokyo, right? Because all that stuff happens in Tokyo. But you know, they had one DVD catalog left basically, and I had to buy the DVD catalog, and then I also like paid a bunch of money for the wristbands too, I think. So I don't think I technically need the DVD catalog. I think I just need to buy the wristbands. And then buying all the wristbands, including the DVD catalog, got me all this stuff. This one's cute though. This one down here in the bottom left-hand corner. I like that one. I actually have that behind me now, set up on my desk area, so. Yeah, I'll talk about Comiket here in a little bit, although I did not take many pictures of Comiket. This is maybe the lowest point of the trip for me. So this was the Osaka Housing Museum, and basically when you go here, they give you like or they have like a life-size version of like an old Japanese, you know, town kind of thing. So you can kind of walk around and you know, explore this place, you know, see little like it like goes through days and times. I think there's also like weather effects too, but you know, there's like these little shrines and stuff that they recreated. You know, you can see the insides of these things, and in concept it was very cool, but in implementation, a lot of the information they kind of read off to you was really long-winded, and like I ended up spending like maybe an hour and a half in this section alone just trying to get the information. I mean, it was in English, right? So it was like available for me to understand, but just a lot of it was really kind of, I don't want to say useless, but it just was not the interesting parts. It was a lot of times they just talk a lot around things that didn't really matter. And they would tell stories about people, but they like, it didn't really apply to what was being shown. So it's just like, why am I hearing about this person kind of thing? So in concept, I thought this would be very cool, but I found this to be kind of dull, unfortunately. They also have, when you go later on in the museum, there's like these little dioramas that you can find. So they show you like different housing, you know, periods. Like this is like post-war, when, you know, a bunch of you know, houses were bombed and everything. So people were like living in these train car, bus kind of things. And you know, they're planting their gardens and things like that. But again, same thing, just like these are cool little dioramas to see, and it would have been nice to get like, you know, a chunk of information, but it just went on so long, and I just walked out halfway through because it just was like I was there for way too long and getting very little information. And like after you look at the dioramas, you more or less know what's going on. So here it is, the Osaka Museum of Housing and Living is what it was called. So again, I thought it would be really cool, just did not really work for me. So this was a pachinko place I saw along the way. So if you don't know the, I think it's Sanyo or Pachinko or whatever, this is one of the main girls for that. So I probably have more pictures of her around. This is like some kind of health sign or whatever. Japanese Red Cross ad. I thought it was cute. IT room, I have this picture in specific, and I think I have it lined up here. So in First Kiss Story 2, there is a cafe called the IT Cafe. So I had to take a picture of this because it was called the IT room, and it reminded me of the IT Cafe in First Kiss Story 2. So I was like, oh, IT. This is like I think I was outside of like a kindergarten or something. And they had like a bunch of hand-painted art on these metal slabs kind of thing that were like bolted to the wall. I didn't particularly come here for any reason. I was just walking back to my hotel and just happened to come across these things. So, thank you. This is right outside my hotel. I think the hotel's like across the street from here. And the big thing is that I was just noting the fact that you can just see this Gundam off in the distance from my hotel, which was kind of a fun little thing. So I think I have another angle over here. Yeah, there's K-Books. This sign here, this K-Book sign, is incredibly washed out. It's hard to see. I don't know, like, I don't know. It looks really rough. It's like needs some kind of restorative work, but maybe that's the point. Maybe they want to keep it, you know, looking as it looks. So this is Den Town still again. So this is the other side of the Gundam sign. There's just like a Zaku 2 pointing down there. Den Town again is not super busy. You just kind of like have this row of places you can go into. Again, really spacious too. So if you don't want to like go to like a really cramped place like Akihabara that's crowded and everything, Den Town is good for that. Though it's definitely not as you know, maybe as impressive or dense with the stuff you're looking at. This is back to those anime girls that were at that place I saw, the theater. For New Year's, they changed it to this thing. I think this is when I was leaving Osaka. No, this is not when I'm leaving Osaka yet. So, this is an arcade game I played called Starwing Paradox. I haven't heard much about Starwing Paradox otherwise, to be honest, but it's like a flight combat game. I played it a little bit, but just because it was very flashy in its presentation, I didn't intend to like really focus on it. So I didn't spend a lot of time on it. There's a lot of voice work in the game too, and I think they were like cycling through all these voice actors on screen as well. So I think this was at a round 1. They also had an Oreca battle machine there. Unfortunately, I took a picture and I think my phone was acting up and didn't actually take a picture of the Oreca battle system. I felt a little, I felt a little comforted because, you know, playing Aikatsu and stuff like that in arcades, those are kids games, right? And you're like, I'm this 30-year-old man playing Aikatsu, and like you're sitting there and like all the machines start filling up with like 6-year-old girls, and you're like, oh man, this white old dude sitting here playing Aikatsu. But when I went and saw the Oreca battle, there's just like this old dude sitting there playing Oreca battle. I was like, yeah, man, I'm glad you're playing kids card games with me. So I believe this is when I went down to Dotonbori. So this is just one of those crap signs. I just kind of took a picture again because I've seen this in Yakuza before. I'm not a huge Yakuza fan, just, you know, the fact that Yakuza is so based off of Japan, it was easy to kind of like, you know, find some of these. So yeah. So Dotonbori, I mean, this is what it's most known for, is this dude, the, I don't know what that is. But, you know, the running guy. I think this guy in particular also is kind of iconic on the left here. I don't know particularly why, but, you know, I assume there's just ads that are there and iconic for a long time. Dotonbori Street, kind of the whole thing with this is it's like all these like LED lights up here, and then you also have these like side walkways here, and there's like this waterway in the middle here, and you can go on the boat. It was raining, so nobody was on the boats, but I didn't want to go on the boat, actually. I just kind of walked up and down, so... I did not buy any kind of model sheets while I was in Japan. I have a Gunpla here. I think a gun cannon, is that his name? The guy with the shoulder gun cannons, but it's like an iron something version. It's not like the typical one from the original series or whatever. And I never built it, so I'm not gonna buy another Gunpla until I do that. Yeah, Glico, that is right. But anyway, so you know, you kind of, you know, you're like on this central bridge that's kind of a big thing, and then I don't know, it's kind of an iconic place to go to. But what I was most interested in was just walking down these waterways. And after that housing museum, I was trying to draw an arrow there and did a bad idea. After the housing museum, though, I really enjoyed just kind of walking up these paths. I mean, this center area is very, very crowded, but once you get past the center area and start like heading further back, it's definitely lightens up in terms of a crowd here. So this is just a restaurant that's down the way. A lot of restaurants down the way. As you can see, a lot less people down here as you just kind of walk down there. And I just walked up and down the full extent of this, as far as I could tell the full extent, or as far as that made sense to. More kids' drawings or whatever of these things. So these are just silly little things. There's quite a few of these kind of things around. Actually, these are just paper, but they're laminated. Apparently, I think they're drawn in 2014 based off this sign here. So they've been there a while, it seems like. There's one of the boats going down. Again, I didn't bother to go on the boats. I just kind of liked walking on my own. I took a picture here because, like in Yakuza, I think I put a picture in here. Yakuza 2, Kiryu is like staring into the water here and he gets stabbed. So I took a picture here staring into the water and sent it to my friend and was like, I'm ready to be stabbed. There you go. There's you stabbed there. This is a really cute ad. That's the mainly thing. I don't know what this is, but they're little cute little things. Iron-blooded orphans? Maybe. I'll need to look. If you're curious, Mr. T, I can follow up with you post the stream, but I actually don't know much about Gundam outside of... I've watched the original Gundam series, and that's about it. I watched Gundam Wing as well, but I don't remember much about it. So, I found the Santa hat. I want to pull. I took a picture of this because it was like the most placeholder-looking texture signs I've ever seen in my life. It looked like somebody forgot to include a texture on a game or something. More of those things. Some street art stuff, I guess. Park Up. I like Park Up. This is a coffee shop I went into. I think, do I have a picture? Yeah, there we go. Got like a honey royal tea or something like that. Honey royal milk tea. That sounds right. I was the only person in there as far as I could tell. More street art stuff. There's a bunch of like lights around at this time. Tombori River Walk or whatever. So I think we also see some pictures of me here because my mom was like, "Hey, why aren't you taking any pictures yourself?" So I was like, "Oh, here's some selfies to appease my mother." There's a Christmas tree. There's a heart. This is kind of awkward. I was trying to get a picture here, but couples kept coming up here. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, get out of my way, lovey-dovey people, get out of my way." There I am. There's a couple. That's the couple. Here, this is the couple. Me and nothing. The life I want to live. There's me with the tree. There's me with Glico Man. And then little octopus thing. Me with Octopus Man. More art. More art. More art. I like this one a lot, actually. Oh, yeah, so this kid. So I was walking down Dosambori Street, and I stopped at, like, some kind of place to get, like, some food, and this kid was standing there, and he was staring at me the whole time, and then he came up and, like, started talking to me, and he was, like, really... He was basically just trying to figure out if I was American, specifically, and he was trying to have a conversation with me in Japanese, and I'm just like, I know barely any Japanese. Like, I know enough Japanese to tell you I don't know Japanese. And so he eventually... we eventually walked away or whatever, and then he found me again later, and then, like, pulled me aside and was like, "Oh," and he, like, wanted to take a picture with me. And so he took a picture with me, so I also took a picture as well. But, like, it was just this really weird interaction. I'm like, I don't know why he wanted a picture with me, but sure enough, I did it. So yeah. This is Super Potato. I liked this, like, I don't know, rough and tumble looking Super Potato, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's Super Potato. Yeah, that's Super Potato. I tried very hard not to go to Super Potato initially, just because I was like, I don't really want to go to the Super Potato place that everybody wants me to go to. It wasn't a bad idea to go to it, but it's very, very dense in games, so it's a little hard to pay much attention to. I feel like you kind of go in there, it's just so much stuff. It's just like, I don't know, like, I could spend like an entire day in a Super Potato, and you're not going to get any good prices either. So it's one of those things that's just like, it's interesting to go into a Super Potato, but maybe don't like spend a ton of time at a Super Potato. Is my opinion on Super Potato. I know other people feel differently, but. So, I bought this game at a book off. I forget the name of it, but I haven't played it yet. I need to try. But I just liked how it looked. It's got a nice look to it. I watched this TV show. It was a really cool TV show. The only time I did not regret watching TV in Japan. I slept in this day. So this is the day I went to Kyoto, but I actually stayed. I slept in and didn't wake up till, like, closer to midday or something. I'm a pretty heavy sleeper at some points. Like, if I don't go to sleep early enough on time, I'll pass out. So I only had one day allocated to Kyoto. So I went there and then basically didn't really have a lot of time to do much. So I just went to Philosopher's Path, which was, like, connected to this little walkway here with, like, this water thing. So you can kind of walk up to this temple area here. This was probably the most packed temple out of all of them that you would went to. I don't know if you'd call it a temple. I don't know. But this is a place you'd go to. It looked nice. You could pay for a tour guide, or if you're me, you could just kind of hover around a tour group but not stand particularly close to them and get everything, explained to you without paying any money for a tour guide. So, yeah, but it was like $5, I think, to enter or whatever. So it looked nice. Nice looking place. But it was really crowded here. Like, I kind of try to keep people out of the pictures, but a bunch of coins down in there. But it was really crowded here, so it was kind of hard to really enjoy it, I feel like. But stuff. Oh, this is like at the top. There's like a top path here, so you can kind of like look out over Kyoto here. So. More of that, more of that, more of that. There's me. I bought charms because my sister asked me to get her something in Japan, so I got this one here was for me. It is safe driving for women, so I put that in my car. This one was for my brother-in-law. It was for good eyesight and I forget something else. It was like a combo charm. There's two things: good eyesight, and I think like self-reflection or something like that. There's this one I got my sister, which is good birthing. She is not expecting a child, but sure enough, I got her the good birthing one. And then I got this for my nephew. It was like wards off evil spirits, so I figured I should get him something that he would think would be cool or something. But yeah, I have this hanging in my car right now, protecting me. I don't know if charms have an expiration period on them or anything, but I have them. This was there too, little water thing. This is what the temple is called, Ginkakuji Temple. So, there are these. Okay, this is back on the outer area there, but there's these other paths that can kind of go down, and there's like little places you could go to here. I like these more because it's a lot quieter. There's like one guy here taking a photo, like pictures while I was here. But just a bunch of old buildings and stuff. I think half a day was like the perfect amount of time for me to spend in Kyoto because I don't really have a ton of appreciation for this kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it's cool to see, but like I don't know if I could spend like multiple days in Kyoto looking at this kind of stuff. Just like as somebody who does not have the context for a lot of this stuff, it's just like this is cool, I guess. Went to a lot of graveyards though here. Like this is another place that had a bunch of graveyard stuff, and just kind of walked around, nice and quiet. In night, during the winter, it's chilly as well. So, trying. Yeah, they had one for men, but I don't know. I was just like, oh, the pink one. I'll get the pink one. There's a graveyard thing or whatever. I assume graveyard. I don't really know for sure, but my assumption is, you're doing something here. This was nice. Like I like the mountain on these stones. All these stones are very detailed and like art and like are just like really nice presentation wise, right? Like they just looked really nice. It is a little weird if they are graves to be like, hey, you had a nice grave, dude. You did it. Good job. Your family likes you, I guess. This is like a big. You get to see. This is like maybe a third of the graves that I was at. Like it's such a small amount. I think this is the temple I was at, Honen Temple, or this might be the next temple. I don't remember for sure. This sign is not particularly good English on these signs. Caution the monkeys. Do not get near them carelessly. Do not feed them. Do not get pictures of them. Onrakuji Temple. I think this is what it was. I believe this one was closed. I think I went up there and the gate was just completely closed off. It was kind of weird because these temples were kind of just like in like neighborhoods. So like here's just houses and stuff. So it's kind of weird exploring around here because it just felt like you were kind of in people's place and home. I didn't particularly like that. Like there's just somebody's car there, right? I don't know. Like, is this private property? I don't know. Like it was weird to be there, I guess. But I assume they're dealing with it all the time. I'm sure they're used to it at this point. Just having random foreigners walking through. That's cute. More temples. Feet. I don't know what this is about. Something to do with feet, though. Oh, yeah, there's like a bunch of these little statue things. There's a ton of these. I don't know what this was about. Yeah, caution the monkeys, yeah. Big statue. This place was all right. It was like up on the side of the like after you get out of the neighborhood, it was like this little place you could kind of walk up. It's like a little shrine thing there. You like walk up and there's like this little place here. I don't know, this shrine. And then there's like this other thing up here you could kind of come to. I assume it's used during festival event stuff or something, but I was there when nobody else was there. There's me, picture from my mom. And then after that, I just kind of walked around. So this is just me walking down Kyoto. I had fun just walking down by this riverside the whole way down. Looked pretty nice. Bunch of like orange things or something. They look like oranges. Oh yeah, this tree is like way in the road. You have to like dodge it when you go through. I think I almost missed the last train coming back from Kyoto. Random statue. I remember like being in kind of a panic. This is the first time I used a bus as well. There's a lot of firsts on this trip. First time using bus, first time using public transportation, and I had no idea how to use a bus. So, this is Okazaki Shrine. This is like a bunny shrine or whatever. I think the big thing was like it's for childbirth kind of stuff. So again, one of those things that like I'm here and there's people, you know, doing stuff here. Oh yeah, there's these little like plastic bunnies they had lined up on this ledge here by this water. But like, you know, there they are. I don't know what's going on really, so it's hard for me to really appreciate it much. And I feel kind of in the way because people are like doing their thing. And I'm just like, I'm going to take some pictures here. Here's the Toys R Us shrine. I mainly just took a picture because I was surprised to see a Toys R Us. This was pretty, I don't know. I feel like this was like fairly soon after Toys R Us went out of business. So I was like, oh, Toys R Us. Acupuncture points for your feet. That makes sense. Oh, yeah. So the hotel I was at, when I was coming out that morning, I saw like painters coming in. And this was the last night I was there, but like they added like anime characters to the door or whatever. And these little characters, I don't know what these characters are. Black Butler, maybe? I don't know. More Japanese TV. What is this game called? I forget what it is. I played this. Moo something. But you're like, I think this was, at the time, it was like, kind of like these, I don't know if BBW is the right word, but, you know, thicker girls, and it's like a shoot 'em up kind of thing, and so you, like, collect, I think, pigs or something, and that, like, gives you a score. I think it's a cave shooter, right? Yeah, it's Cave, 2007, so played a little bit of that. And then I was like, oh, back to Tokyo. So went back on the train. This was the nice hotel I was at. So this is a ryokan. And the first hotel I was at was very small, and that second one I was at, you know, was not particularly, you know, great sound wise. Muchi Muchi Pork, that is accurate. So this place was way nicer, and I'm glad I spent the majority of my trip here. So yeah, the door was very low, so I basically would smack my head on that door if I didn't duck down. And this is also when I found out where the Otokadol machine was. So this is at Akihabara Leisureland 2, I believe, is where I went for this one. It did not have a recording thing, but it did have cards. So it would print out normal cards and also holographic cards. So I went here with a friend, and we played some Otokadol for a little bit. This is a road that was by... So I stayed in Asakusa again when I came back. So I was back in Asakusa. Which I'm glad I did, because it was like a nice like kind of anchor point for me. It felt like I didn't want to like too much change, I feel like, as I got settled in, right? So this is like Orange Street or whatever. That was down there. This is near where I was initially as well, but I just happened to be by it, so I took a picture this time around. Oh yeah. So so when I came back from Osaka, I put my Comiket stuff in my luggage, and Michelle from Doors and Dungeons recommended I use one of the luggage transportation services to send my stuff back to Tokyo from Osaka. The problem being is that I put my Comiket stuff in the luggage and sent it back, but when I came back, the next day was going to be Comiket, and my luggage wasn't going to arrive till later that day. So I had to go buy more Comiket wristbands, so I ended up with even more erotic stuff that I was just like, I didn't actually really want this, but now I have this too. I think I gave one of them away to somebody, and there's my DVD catalog for Comiket. So Comiket, I do not have a lot of pictures. I was just in a train station. I had to take a picture of where I left. Actually, this is when I got my PC-98. Michelle brought it, and I put it in one of these coin lockers, so I took a picture to remember where it was at. But yeah, so, you know, we took the train down to Comiket. Here's the big old convention center. I forget what it's called. Tokyo Big Sight, I believe. So we went to the Tokyo Big Sight, and unfortunately, during Comiket, it was very difficult to even navigate, so let alone take pictures. So I don't really have any pictures, but I did grab some stuff. So the first day, what was there mainly was, or at least the stuff I mainly went and looked at, was video game related doujinshi. So we got like Skies of Arcadia stuff up here. We got Gabriella's Ghostly Groove. Ico, Final Fantasy 9, Resident Evil. So it was all like video game focused doujinshi. I kind of wish I spent a little more time, or had gotten there earlier to spend a little more time, because there were some things that I didn't get the chance to really look at, and people were packing up by the time I kind of came around for like a second look kind of thing. There's some Xenoblade doujinshi that I kind of wanted to pick up, but never got the chance to, unfortunately. I also got this purse that's based off Morag from Xenoblade 2 that I think is really cute as well. So that was the first day of Comiket. But yeah, Comiket, there was a big line to get in. You had to walk around like this big area to get to the front area. And then once you get inside, it's really confusing on where you're going. It's hard to find what you're looking for. There's different halls with different numbers and different tables with different letters, and you kind of try to cross-reference where those particular artists are that you're looking for, or different sections are that you can kind of browse. But there's a lot of people moving around, and on this first day, it was not super bad, honestly. And I think this is technically the second day of Comiket. I think I missed the first day of Comiket. But I think it's technically the second day. Yeah, that's Time Gal right there. On the right. Wait. I don't know any of these characters, but yeah, I saw Time Girl on the cover and I picked it up. Unfortunately, there was not any real art inside of here. It was mostly just writing. So being in Japanese, I had no idea what I was looking at. So I went back to Akihabara and got a Pablo cheesecake. So I think this was every time I went to Pablo's Cheesecake, they only had like one cheesecake left, or one cheesecake type left, and it was always the like apple caramel pie cheesecake or whatever. I love this snowman though. I tried to retain the snowman, but you can see the damage was already done to Snowman. He was not really salvageable, but I really wanted to keep him. So yeah, I got it because of the cover, but yeah, there just wasn't anything inside of it. And a friend of mine is kind of more into that kind of look, so I went ahead and gifted it to him as like a, hey, do you want this? And he was like, yeah, sure. So I gave it to him, because he didn't go to Comiket that day. I don't believe. I think he was not feeling super well. Went back and played more Otokadol. Hey, after I find the Otokadol machine, there's a lot of Otokadol that happens. This is PC98 that I brought back after I got back from Comiket. This is a picture I took when I brought it back home. I did not unpack it there. I left it in the box for the most part. So that's what the PC98 looks like. Have not really used it this year. This also shows you the controller I got. This is technically an MSX controller here. It just happens to work with it as well, I believe. The only problem is that the only game I've played is a fighting game, which is a 4-button fighter, and you can see this only has 2 buttons on it. So you have to like hold down the button to do the other inputs. And there's the mouse, just a mouse, but with like a particular connector kind of thing. So we couldn't actually find a PC98 at like the Beep or whatever. So they had to Michelle had to order one off Yahoo Auctions Japan for me, and that's why they ended up delivering it to me. Let me see what's next here. This is Comiket Day 3. Again, I did not really take pictures at Comiket itself. This is the Ghibli time or clock or whatever. Unfortunately, we weren't there at a time with this all this animation plays out. Apparently, these like little guys move around and like work on stuff as a kind of show plays. A very mechanical show with all these like little characters and stuff. But I was not there to see it. I think I looked up a YouTube video later, but we were like at the worst possible time to be there, kind of thing. I think we also had plans this night. I can't remember if that was this night or the next night. Nope, not plans this night. We're back to Otokadol. So we had the plans of playing more Otokadol. So this is the end of the Comiket Day. So to kind of go over what happened on Comiket Day 3, so this was pretty much the porn day. And so the initial places I went and looked at, it was a bunch of erotic art kind of thing. The problem being is it was packed. It was really ridiculously packed. And unless you knew exactly where you were going or what you were trying to do, you basically had no control over where you're going because the crowd was just constantly pushing you. So like you were just moving because you had to move. It was kind of ridiculous. And so I really didn't get to look at any of it. But again, what I mentioned earlier about the bookstores and the erotic art in the bookstores, like at some point I just kind of glaze over because unless you're looking for something in particular, basically all the hentai covers basically look the same for the most part, right? Or at least they look very similar. And it's like at some point, you can only see so many, bare breasts on a wall, and you're like, So, anyways, yeah. Well, I'll go over the PC98 stuff later, Mr. T. So these are some of the things. So what I did end up doing on that Comiket day was I went to the second floor, and this was probably one of my favorite things it was my favorite thing that day, at least, was it was an arts and crafts floor, and I didn't buy much, but there's a lot of really cute things like these buttons here. I got this little like ghost droplet kind of thing. So there's a lot of arts and crafts on the second floor. So I ended up spending up pretty much all my time at the arts and crafts section. There was kind of not enough to really keep my attention, but I didn't want to go back down to the erotic floor, mainly because of lack of interest and also the giant crowd, where the floor that had the kind of the handcrafted works and things like that was a lot quieter. So I enjoyed just hanging out in the handcrafted section, really. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a whole conversation about how I feel about sexualization of stuff in general, and like I'm very much open to like, the fact that I think like pornographic art and stuff is art still. I am not really the type of person to be like, oh yeah, let me get some high anime boob hentai game or hentai things, kind of thing. That's just not kind of who I am. I would say I've had people yell at me in two different ways about this. One, I've had people say that I am asexual, and I've had people say that that I'm not asexual, and I've had people argue about whether I'm asexual or not. So I'm kind of unaffected by a lot of that stuff personally. But I don't know. I don't really know, and I don't really care if I'm asexual or not. So. Oh, this is from the arts and craft things. It's cute. Here's a jar of salt because I had my gum. I had to gargle salt water every night. That was fun. Bought some salt walls in Japan. This is, let me see. Can I rotate this? I don't know if I can. This is a soundtrack I bought called Beer Square Enix. I entirely bought it because it was Beer Square Enix, but it has like bar versions of Square Enix songs and things like that. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun soundtrack. The soundtrack's on YouTube though, so you can look it up. Back to Tokyo Big Sight. This is the final day, I believe, of Comiket. Yeah, I don't want to particularly say I am asexual just because I've had people get mad at me for saying I am asexual, and then I've had people get mad at me for saying I'm not asexual, and I just don't care. So, but yeah, I don't know. Who knows? And I don't really know. But I went back to Tokyo Big Sight. This was kind of this day was kind of the whole reason I was in Japan in the first place, because it was the day that I bought actual Dojin games. So this was what triggered the trip, is I wanted to buy Dojin games, and so I came to Comiket on this day, and I probably bought way too much. But given the fact this is the reason I came, it probably was worth it, right? So a lot of these I haven't even really had a chance to play through. Some of these are literally like, hey, here's a blank CDR, right? I don't even know what that is. Some of these are like I believe the NSB Games and Amusement Maker C97 were free discs they were giving out, but they're like college projects and things like that were there. So it was just like a bunch of stuff you can get, and I just had a bag and I just stuffed it full of this stuff. I had a stream where I went through a lot of these things. So if you haven't seen that, go look up my Comiket streams. The only game I've really gone really in depth on is Luck Tuna here, which is a very cute rhythm game about a dog and his owner kind of thing. It has like a story on it. I've played a little bit of this too. I don't know if this is based off something, but it's like a hiking game. You kind of climb up a mountain and use cards to fight off giant foxes and things like that. So again, a lot of stuff. I don't know if there's anything in here I really want to highlight. These two games I did not get at Comiket. I happened to be walking by a store. I forget at what point during the trip. We might see it at some point. And these games are by I think Desnoya. But I like Super Panda Ball a lot. So I found a physical copy and I was really happy about that. And this is their other game. I found a physical copy of that as well. So these are all taken when I got back from Japan, these pictures. But yeah, so just got a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to see if there's anything that really stands out to worth mentioning. I have not seen, so this is Soul Saber 1.5. I think I am literally the only person who's posted gameplay of Soul Saber 1.5 on the internet. Soul Saber 2 is on Steam, and there is gameplay of Soul Saber 1 on the internet, but I've never seen anyone post Soul Saber 1.5 before. So I don't know anybody else who has this. Admittedly, I haven't checked in like a year probably. So yeah. Flan. I think this might have come to Switch at some point. Flan? I can't remember for sure. Might be misremembering that. Some of these are like, these games have been around for a while. I think this has been on Steam for a long time. But just like, physical versions. Some kind of like, gimmick Toho Hokuto no Ken game there on the left. Sword Girl Alice did finally get an English version recently on DL site, but I got the physical version here. So, yeah. I don't know. We played some, like I said, we played some of these on stream at some point. So, yeah, you told me, Mr. T. I'm excited that you got Super Panda Ball. I forgot that the music stopped playing at some point. It's fine. I don't know if the first good story music really matters. So, but yeah, there's also these cards here. One of these cards. I'm going to go to the next page. I hope there's a card that I censored if I didn't see it. Okay. The card, I excluded the card in this picture probably because there is a card that does have erotic art in it. So, you mentioned earlier, Alex, about, Comiket being like a lot of erotic stuff, but it's really not that particularly. I mean, that is a part of it, right? And that's a big, like probably the biggest day, but like a lot of this stuff is non-erotic stuff, just like independent people making games and stuff like that, and doujinshi and stuff like that. So I do think that even if you're not into erotic stuff, Comiket's a great thing to go do at some point. The big thing is that you need to be okay seeing that erotic stuff because you're going to have to walk by it at some point, right? So, yeah, Jarif and Anika, I had the download code for the demo. I have not purchased the actual game still. I need to, but unfortunately, I'm kind of backed up on rhythm games right now. But yeah, this is available on Switch, PS4, and PC, I think. So, I don't remember if there's a physical copy of it. I would like to get a physical copy if I can. But yeah, Blue Geometry was pretty cool too. We played that on the stream. King Seeker was that game I speed ran because it took me like less than 2 minutes to beat or something. So yeah, there's interesting stuff in here. I need to play more of these games. Some of them were just trial discs. Like, is it here? I don't see it. There's one game that we played that was like just a trial, and some of these down here are definitely just trials as well. So, and they're just like $1 basically. Here's a trial game right there. Call Sign EXE we played on stream. That was a trial as well. That was basically just a prototype. I don't know if they've updated it. I haven't checked in on it. Maybe I should at some point. So, this is the Sailor Moon show or whatever. So it's like one of those cafes so that you can get. I got the Mars burger, so it has egg, ketchup, salsa, and like a Mercury. I think it's like kind of like an ice cream soda thing, kind of thing. So all of this does not taste very good. I mean, the ice cream was good, but like you'll find with the Japanese cafe stuff that like if you get to like a themed cafe, usually the food's not particularly good. Although there was one exception that I had. But yeah, I mean. Most of the show they didn't let you take pictures, but for the ending part they let you do. So at this point, you could go and take pictures. And it was just like a cute show. It definitely was built with English speakers coming in mind. There was English on screen and everything. So if you do come see the Sailor Moon thing, it is worth going to in my opinion. You get the gist of it. Most of it's just them acting, doing a bunch of like things on stage, doing like fight scenes and things like that. That's stuff you couldn't take pictures of, so it's all just kind of like the encore at the end that you get pictures of as well. It's worth noting that this guy here, I don't know why I said it's worth noting, this dude here was just a guy in the crowd, but he had the most cute, I don't know if you'd say tuxedo mask cosplay, but tuxedo mask themed outfit. Jesus, if I can speak. I really wish I could have gotten a picture of him, but I felt too awkward to ask. So, yeah. But it was a fun show. I definitely recommend. I think it's like Sailor Moon Starlight something. I'm sure if you look it up, you can find it. So, but yeah. Good times. Back to playing more Tokudal. I was watching my friend play a Tokudal. I was forcing people I knew in Japan to play a Tokudal while I was there. So, this is New Year's night. So this was the Tokyo Sky Needle or whatever. It did like have Happy New Year's like kind of go across that. It's basically just like a festival area kind of thing. There's like a bunch of like booths with food and things like that. I didn't love any of the food we had there. It was a lot of it was like kind of cold by the time you got it, and it was fine, but I didn't love it either. So apparently we were supposed to hear some kind of bell ring in this. This is Sensoji Temple again. There's supposed to be some kind of bell ring. We never heard the bell though, so I don't know if that was supposed to go off. There's also like a line of cops down here that were like holding people from getting in, because apparently it was like if you're the first person to pass under some arch in here or something, you would get like good luck for 2021 or 2020 or something like that. So there's a ton of people that were lining up trying to push in, and then like there's a whole line of police officers keeping them out until midnight, and then they just kind of all ran in essentially. So ton of people. Again, pre-coronavirus. So, yeah. Here's a puppeteer guy I found on the way back to my hotel. Definitely. Why, dude, it's cute though. A little guy playing a little what's it called? Violin. There you go. Thank you for everything, 2019. That's my ceiling. I woke up that day, so this is like after 3 days of Comiket, and I was fucking beat. And I was like, I don't want to leave my hotel room again. But eventually I forced myself out. And went and played more Tokudal. So this is actually at a different location. So what's really cool about arcades in Japan, I do not feel like I see this much in the US. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just haven't gone to enough arcades. But they have these little things connected to a lot of the machines. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Where you can just plug in like a USB or an SD card. And you can record gameplay from the arcade machine. And that's how I got most of my Tokudal footage, was from recording gameplay at this location. Unfortunately, the Tokyo Akihabara Leisureland 2 did not have one of those recording things, and that's where I played most of my Tokudal, unfortunately. The big thing on here is that this is out of holo cards, so I couldn't actually print holo cards here. So yeah, I played this is maybe like the halfway point of a Tokudal. Like this is where I got most of my footage, and this is like very early game for me. I unfortunately most of the end game stuff I did not get captured gameplay, kind of because I didn't actually intend to get as far as I did, as we'll get into later. So this is the place that had the Tokudal machine there. You could record it. I needed to look at it. I think I saw in the Tokudal community, maybe the machine at the St. Tropez location might be shutting down. There's like a notice on it that says something about December 27th, and I don't know if that means this particular unit's going away or not. But yeah, so this is like an arcade there. I really didn't play much here. I just kind of focused on a Tokudal. The whole point of today's trip was to play a Tokudal and record footage of it. Because I knew this place had the recording thing, because one of the guys who's in the Tokudal community, Uncle Tokudal, he reached out to me and let me know this place had a place I could record a Tokudal. And so the intention was to do like a quick play kind of thing with it, but it ended up turning into a featured review. It was not my intention to do a feature review. If I knew I was going to do a featured review, I probably would have done gotten a lot more footage probably. So yeah, it was tiring. So, and then, every like hour or so I'd go out. Oh, this isn't within the St. Tropez arcade thing. I had like a little, diorama thing of stuff here. It's cute. This was just some place I saw. I originally was going to walk into there because it looked kind of nice, but I could not figure out if it was open to the public or not, so I did not go in. Another place I tried to go to was this building. There was like some kind of advertisement down here, and it said like the 4th floor or something. So, and it looked like it was like a statue or something. So like maybe it's like some place where you can like look at all these like Buddha statues kind of thing. So I went up to the 4th floor there, and it was like an office building, and I showed up and was like, I'm clearly not supposed to be here. So I ejected very quickly and just said I'm sorry and left. So This is just a building that looks cool. This is a park. This park was closed off for New Year's, so. Minami Ikebukuro Park. Hey, guess what? I went back and played more Tokudal. These are the number of cards I had by that. This is like halfway the trip, maybe. We are getting towards 2 hours, so I might need to. I don't know. We might need to speed up some of this stuff here. I found these at Tokudal machines or CDs at like a book off kind of thing. There's also these little like Bomberman cards that I printed out of like a Konami thing. Is that on here? Did I take a picture of that? Yeah, this thing. So you could like print out cards for various games. I don't know what those cards did, to be honest, but I had them. These are Rika Battle cards, Tokudal, and Aikatsu cards there. This day I just went to Akihabara, did some shopping. You know, Akihabara is pretty expensive, so you know you're not going to get anything particularly cheap. This is some figure I saw for what's that? It's like something about I Believe in Bunny Chan or something like that. I don't remember. I watched the anime. It's pretty good though. Bunny Rascal Bunny. I don't know. Something you probably is popular anime. I'm sure you probably recognize it. Vape shop. Flavor Kitchen. I felt like I was back in Las Vegas when I saw that. More Tokudal. So here are the PC98 games I got. It was a little awkward buying these because I had to go into, I think it's a Surugaya, and I had to go to their 18 plus floor, and so like I was looking at these games and like there's just like a bunch of, you know, pornographic videos playing in the background while I was looking at these games. We got Metal and Lace 2. I got a video for that up on the YouTube channel. I got Bible Master 2. That's where this good comes from. Bible Master 2. The Queen of Duelists. Have not played that yet. Brand Marker. Lunatic Dawn 2. This was marked as junk, so I don't know if this actually works. Same thing with Gunblades. This is also marked as junk. And then Zack 3. Zack 3, I think I can see the price on that, right? I can't tell. But yeah, I got these at Traders. That's where I got them, as a trader, not a Surugaya. Bunny Girl Senpai, thank you. Rascal did not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. That was a good anime. I liked it. I also found a copy of Megame Paradise 2 over there for the PCFX. So I bought some Aikatsu curry for $1. I did not eat it, but I got the box. I threw the curry out at some point during the trip. I thought about bringing the curry back with me, but I was like, I don't want this exploding in my luggage. So there's this mechanic in the Tokudal that I don't really talk about in the review. It's called the Best Friends mechanic. And it's essentially as you fight these characters, you can become better friends with them. And when you do that, you can print out cards with them on it. So you can pose with them and everything. I think you have to beat them 3 times to become best friends with them. I think I best friended every single character in the game. I could be wrong, but I think I eventually got there. Here's some of the games I picked up while I was doing my Akihabara trip. You know, obviously got to get me some First Kiss Story. I picked up Kowloon Gate, Digital Idol Ina, I think this is what this is called. Digital Figure Ina, Mr. Driller, Crime Crackers, which is from Media Vision, which is the Wild Arms and Valkyrie Revolution developers. Some of these we played on stream. Tomo Runner we played on stream. Puzzle Tyson, Psychic Force. We got Psychic Force as well. Basic version of Psychic Force here. I went ahead and bought a bunch of Aikatsu games. I was kind of looking for Aikatsu games that were going to be cheap. It took me a while to find them cheap, but I think these were $5 each, so not super expensive. There's that one Capcom game I got. Tobidasu Magic Pen, or Surprise Magic Pen or something. This is a fun game. I like it a lot. I actually talk about this in one of the 2020 videos, so if you watch those, you'll see me talk about that a little bit. Got me a copy of Fab Style and Phantom Joker. Fist of North Star on PS1's crazy expensive? Are you sure? It was like $10 when I bought it. So maybe it's just the eBay prices are expensive for some reason. Or maybe some YouTuber covered it and then it got really pricey. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would have liked to try it, but the curry, but I just was like, I don't know if I'll, you know, be able to transport this properly. So I think we'll probably play Phantom Joker here sometime in the near future. So Just some DS games. You know, I got my full set of Monolith Soft Japanese DS games that I wanted. These two have fan translations. So Summerbringer and Super Robot Tyson, Endless Frontier, Xseed, you can play in English now. Xenosaga 1 and 2 DS, I believe, does not have a fan translation, but I'm pretty sure the group that worked on Robot Tyson are working on Xenosaga Episode 1 and 2 for DS, so. Jump Superstars. I picked this up because it was $1. But you know, it was a popular game around to import early in the DS's life. Same thing with Band Brothers. I believe this is what this is called. Band Brothers something or something like that. DX. Happy Dance Collection. Yeah, I'm playing that right now. It's a cool game. We played a little bit of these Wii games on stream though. I think most of these were kind of underwhelming. The exception being Earthseeker. Earthseeker seems pretty cool, and it has a fan translation now as well, so we might check that out. Disaster Day of Crisis is obviously very cool as well. 30 on eBay? Okay. 30 on eBay sounds pricey, but still probably right. So. This is just a cheap Guilty Gear and Melty Blood game. I probably will show it in a little bit here, but I got these for like $1 at like a bookstore in some random city. Same thing with School Rumble. It was very cheap, but I liked School Rumble a lot when I was a kid, so I picked up a copy of that. It's just a visual novel. I don't really expect to ever play it, but it was nice to get it. It's complicated, Mr. T. I gotta figure that out for myself if Happy Dance Collection has a relationship with Wii Cheer. I have heard that they share similar elements. It was before Namco and Bandai combined with each other, as far as I understand. I don't know if the developer is the same, but yes, I believe there is a relationship between Happy Dance Collection and Wii Cheer. So, but again, I gotta do more research on that. I gotta research these children's dance games. Fantasy Star Nova I picked up because it was cheap. Idle Death Game was actually pretty expensive. I think it was like 15 to 20 bucks, but it was pretty late in the trip that I picked it up, so I just kind of grabbed it because I always was interested in checking it out. Nana was like $1. Frontier Gate I think was pretty cheap, but I like Frontier Gate. I made a video a long time ago on Frontier Gate. It's like a turn-based Monster Hunter style game. And then this Fairy Tail game is a Hunex game, so obviously you gotta get that. Okay, watch Just Dance. Ninja Box we already played on stream. Most of these we've already looked at on stream, so I'll skip past those. I have videos for Sparkling Feather and Battle Heat. Battle Heat's a really neat game once you know how to play it, so I recommend Battle Heat for PCFX fans. Sparkling Feather is a little more, you know, whatever. The reason why we're going through so many games is this is just like stuff I picked up while I was in Akihabara, basically. There's some other games in here like this one we got earlier, but, you know, this is just me taking pictures of games after the fact. Innocent Tears is the only Super Potato game I bought. It was 15 bucks, or 14.08 apparently. So $14.08 basically. But it had a really big box, and I'd never heard it before, and it was an Xbox exclusive title to Japan. I was like, yeah, sure. Also, it's the same people who put out it's the same publisher as Surprise Magic Pen as well. I just realized that now. That's not something I knew ahead of time. Doraemon, I bought a physical copy because I wanted the manual. I like this game a lot, and we'll probably do a full video on that eventually. Another Hunex game here, Tricolous Crease. I don't know how to pronounce that game, but we played a little bit of that a while ago, I think. Dream Club Zero is unfortunately region locked, but I have a long history with liking Dream Club. It's got the good music. Also, as a Baten Kaitos fan, I felt like I needed to get the pre-order bonus for that game, which was Tower of Jiraga for the GameCube. So, yeah, there's a fan translation for EX Troopers on 3DS. I don't know if the PlayStation 3 version ever figured it out. So, what got an English release? Innocent Tears? I don't think Innocent Tears got an English release, did it? Let me pull that up real quick. Let me look into this. I thought it was Japan only, but if it's English, then for sure I'll... I think we might be talking about different games. I think you may have said something else was the English release. But yeah, Innocent Tears does not have an English release as far as I can tell. Just some soundtrack things. I really like this concert. It's a really good Phantasy Star Online concert. I highly recommend listening to the Symphony 2015 album for PSO if you like that music. It's really good. There's Beer Square Enix, and I got a Dream Sea Club disc as well. And then the Otokadol discs I got earlier. So it's just some other stuff. Gonna skip through some of these. Luggage. This is Sensoji Temple. I forget when this was, but it was packed for some reason. I can't remember why, but it was ridiculously packed. This is a bookstore that I went to. Let me see if I have the name. So this is when I went to go to the Hunex offices, and it was kind of on the edge of Tokyo. So this bookstore is where I got all those $1 games, because you typically, as far as I can tell, you typically can't get $1 games like Akihabara. So you got to go to other places outside of Akihabara, and usually like a bookstore seems good enough. So let me see here. Kokunbunji is where this is. So this is a small used bookstore that was there, and they had like one shelf with video games on it, and I kind of liked that. After seeing so many video games in Akihabara, it was nice to just like go in and have a choice between like a small set of games. Basically, that's where I got Melty Blood for $2, Nana for $1, that for $15 looks like. So this is just Kokunbuji when I was going to the Hunex offices. There's the Hunex office sign. Me with my copy of First Kiss Story. Me in front of the Hunex sign. I don't like these pictures very much. I kind of feel like I look like an asshole, but you know. This is a park by there. Let me see if I have the name of the park. I didn't plan to come to this park, but I saw that it was nearby, so I was like, why not? Let me see if I got the name. I do not have the name of the park, but it's a park in Kokunbuji, and it's right by the Hunex offices if you look that up. So, and it's just a nice park. I propped up some First Kiss Story pictures here. You're gonna see a lot of First Kiss Story here. Park, First Kiss Story at the park. More First Kiss Story at the park. I felt like a real dummy taking these pictures, but I don't know. Once I took that first picture, I was like, well, now I'm committed. So, you know, some of these are just normal pictures, though. You know, same thing with like, you know, the Kyoto trip. It's like, yeah, this place looks nice. Maybe there we go. That's a picture. Maybe maybe not something that I particularly appreciate, right? But this place looks nice. Koi fish. More First Kiss Story. More First Kiss Story. More First Kiss Story. Not First Kiss Story. First Kiss Story. Not First Kiss Story. So, just gonna flip through those real quick. Oh yeah, this building was just like covered in vines for some reason. There's like a little pumpkin out there, or like what are those thing called? Like little jack-o'-lantern bin for like Halloween candy. Flexing on every what's it called? Yeah. I have thought about making a compilation of all the Hunex logos at the beginning of all the different games, because there's a bunch of different Hunex logos. This picture is very important. So this is a bread shop I went into. Got some bread. I had a really awkward conversation with the person at the stand or whatever. I realized I didn't have any more yen left in my wallet, so I took out my bag and got yen out. And at some point when I took my bag out to get yen, I dropped one of my other bags, and that bag had my passport in it. So this is the aftermath pictures of me being like, well, this is where I lost my passport. So if you find this place in Japan, you can be like, this is the iconic place where Ben lost his passport at the end of the trip. I believe I was supposed to fly out the next day. And yeah. So maybe if you go there today, you can find my passport. Just maps. So I spent basically this entire day after the Hunex offices just trying to find my passport. Could not find it. Went to the Lost and Found multiple times. They eventually closed. I went to the police station, reported my missing passport, and then I came back to my hotel room and spent some quality time with some First Kiss Story on the desk. This is me on a train. So I spent this entire morning calling the airport, as well as trying to... I had already sent my luggage to the airport, actually, so I didn't have my luggage anymore at this point. So I didn't have any clothes other than the clothes I was wearing. And I had to try to get my luggage back from the airport without taking the drive to the airport to have to come back. So that was a whole thing. Again, I don't know any Japanese, so trying to communicate that was pretty challenging on the trip. So, yeah, so the majority of this day I was locked up in my hotel room, placing phone calls, racking up a phone bill, which was cool, fun, and frustrating. After I got my plane ticket sorted out and this was literally the weekend, actually. I think because it was a holiday weekend, the embassy was closed, so I didn't have an appointment at the embassy to get my passport at this point. But I was fairly certain I could get my passport on the Monday following that. So I was largely, strangely comfortable with that. I went back to Friends in Akihabara, which is like a game store thing, and for some reason they're like right alongside this like very erotic sign there. It's a weird thing. So I took a picture of it. This is when I bought the Fist of the North Star and Tower Draga. So if I didn't lose my passport, I would not own those games. This is also when I found Super Panda Ball. I was just kind of wandering at this point. I think I went to Akihabara and was just walking around because I didn't know what to do at this point anymore, because I hadn't planned anything. So it kind of worked out to some degree because a lot of these shops I was trying to go to were closed during the new year, and I was at Akihabara during the new year. So I was able to go to Beep. I was able to go to Beep again to look at some PC98 games, which I didn't end up buying any there. And I was able to go back to Friends, which was closed when I went there, and get this copy of Fist of the North Star, which apparently is C rank on a lot of things. So maybe I just didn't get a great copy, but I didn't notice anything particularly bad with it, from what I saw. While I had some free time, I learned how to use the 7-Eleven printers and printed out some Tokudoll art from their network printer stuff, which was kind of neat. That was a fun thing. Yeah, I don't remember if it was a week, but it was definitely a chunk of time afterwards that I had to stay. Again, just kind of wandering at this point. There was like a bread shop here that I walked by, but it was closed, so I just took a picture of its sign. I was just walking around Asakusa at this point because I didn't know what else to do. I met up with Oscar again because Oscar was still in town, so we went down to this like street that had this like duck as their what's it called? I guess mascot. There's like a store that was like focused on cats that was kind of cute. There's a actual cat that we found, and then we went to another park, just kind of a park. I felt bad because like Oscar very much clearly did not seem to want to go in. I was like, I'm just gonna, I don't have anything better to do with my life right now, Oscar. I'm gonna go in this park. so dragged him along with me. You know, it's during the winter, so everything is kind of dead. So yeah. I also did not feel particularly comfortable right now because like I still did not have my clothes at this point, so I was like just in gross old clothes for like a couple days. This was a arcade that we went to. It was like right down in this area here, I think. Or I lost my pen again. A little frustrating, but like a little arcade that was down there. It was all Gundam Versus as far as I can remember. So we didn't really end up doing anything there other than looking at it and going, yep, that's Gundam Versus. At this point of the trip, I just kind of committed to I was going to play a Tokudoll. So this is actually kind of funny. So like I mentioned earlier, there's like with the Aikatsu thing, there's like this little thing where you can leave your card. I don't know why this like sometimes it breaks off here, so it doesn't fully circle something. So you can leave your card. And I left one of my cards here. This is not my card that I left. But I thought it was the last time I was gonna play a Tokudoll, so I left the card there. And somebody came and played my character and put me in a devil outfit with devil horns and a stick. They like stripped my character of any gear. Like I don't know what was up with this. I thought it was pretty funny. I'm kind of curious what led to that situation. If a kid just happened to grab it, or if somebody was like, let's mess with this character. I honestly don't remember where this is. Let me see if I can figure this out real quick. I think this was just like a shopping street that I walked down because I didn't really have anything else left to do. Again, the back half of this trip was like me just being uncertain of what I should be doing. Oh yeah, I went to some arcades on the way here. I think this is in Shinjuku. I could be wrong about that, but I believe that is what this is. I've got me a Pikachu donut. I think it's filled with banana cream. I'm not a big fan of banana. This is the Square Enix Cafe. I didn't really go to cafes earlier, like I said, because like taste-wise, it's not great food, and you know, I was just kind of trying to find stuff to do at this point. So I went to the Square Enix Cafe. It was Octopath Traveler, and I don't really know anything about Octopath Traveler, so it was kind of me there while Octopath Traveler stuff was playing. So I supposedly have this coaster somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's probably in my apartment somewhere. This drink was like a I think supposed to be like a blue raspberry soda, but it was not amazing. But the it has like golden flakes on it for some reason there. These things, I assume they're takoyaki balls or something like that. But I don't know for sure. They were good though. I thought it was a little silly that, you know, being Octopath Traveler, I feel like there should be 8 of these balls in here, but there's only 6. So, me playing. So this is like end game of Tokadol content that I'm doing right here. So that was just one of the later characters, Yomi. Michelle with Doors and Dungeons got me a sound card. She was originally gonna ship it to me to the US, but because I got stuck in Japan, they just met up with me, and then we traded, or I paid for it and just brought the sound card with me. Star Wars. Went to the Gundam Cafe. This green tea was trash. But you got to keep the cup. So it was like $20 green tea, but they gave you a Zaku cup, and I think I have that right here. There we go. So yeah, I was glad I got that cup. The tea was bad. I like Zaku's. Like when it comes to Mobile Suit Gundam, like probably the hierarchy of my favorite Gundams are Gun Cannon, Leo's, and then Zaku's. That's probably like top to bottom there. This was not very good though. It was like a I think it was like a tomato rice kind of thing, but it did not taste particularly great. This is a Bang Dream taiyaki. It was very small, but it came with a pin. I don't know why I bought it, other than the fact that it's shaped like an anime girl. More Tokadol, because I don't know what to do with my life. Merry Christmas. I apparently did not delete any of these. I was trying to... There are a lot more Tokadol pictures that I deleted to keep them out of this. This is the end of a Tokadol, so I beat a Tokadol. End? Question mark? Yes, by the way. It is the end because there's no content update since 2017. But yeah. A Tokadol. More Tokadol. There's my backpack. Yeah, this is the last space I had left. So this is like after I bought the rest of the games, this is all I had left. And so I think I was able to fit like one other thing like right here, like one other flat game if I wanted to buy something. So I was just like, this is it. This is the end game. Like there's no space left for me to buy things. That was my last Tokadol card, and that's the one I left behind, I'm pretty sure. Maybe. Actually, no, I think we played... Yeah, that was the last one. I almost missed the train because of a Tokadol. I did not realize there was a special train I needed to get on to get back to the airport. And when I was looking at the Google Maps or whatever, the train that I selected apparently didn't run all day, and it stopped halfway through the day. So when it came noontime, I didn't have the train that I was going to get on to get to the airport. I was like, oh god, I'm going to miss my flight. So I somewhat blamed that on a Tokadol because I spent most of my morning playing a Tokadol. So yeah, and this is me. This is actually back in San Francisco. I just took a picture of all my cards because I had like an 8-hour period I had to sit there and just like kill time. But yeah, that's the final tally of a Tokadol cards. As you can see, the Aikatsu card count did not really increase after I found a Tokadol. but we got a lot of Tokedal cards. I also lost some Tokedal cards because there were some that were inside my passport bag. I also played a little bit of Prepara. Still same level of Orica battle cards as well as the Konami cards. So, and I think that's it. That's it. So yeah, that was all the photos I have from my Japan trip. It was a fun time. I had a good time with that trip. You know, maybe don't lose my passport next time. That'd be a cool way to not have a trip go. There we go. Bring it back up. Cool way to not have a trip go. But I would like to go back, and I think I'd like to go back sooner rather than later for sure. I think if I did go back, I would want to go up to like this area here, which I think like this area would be like kind of near like Hokkaido and Sapporo kind of thing. And I'd like to go during the wintertime probably, so it'd be snowy. So yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Alex. Towards the end there, I kind of rushed through, but my goal was to keep the stream under 2 hours, and I checked in at like 8:58 and was like, actually this didn't really work out. So, but yeah, I'm glad you liked it. There's definitely more to the trip that I kind of skipped over. I skipped over the fact that I lost my temporary passport as well. There's a lot of things that happened on this trip. It was kind of a nightmare when it came to the logistics of what happened. I lost my money at some point. It was kind of a whole thing. But most of it was recoverable. I was able to make it work. I'm just not very good at traveling. Like this is my first trip I went anywhere on my own. So like I never rented a hotel room on my own before. Like all that stuff was like I just didn't know anything, what I was doing. So yeah, like if I go again, I definitely would consider maybe the website more. This trip was really a trip for me. It's part of why I haven't probably talked about it for a year, is like this is something I kind of wanted this to not be about the website in a lot of ways. Like the website is such a big part of my life. Like going on this trip was just like, not everything in my life needs to be about the website, right? Like my job fuels my existence so I can make website content. So it was nice to just take something that was, there's no stress on like, I have to do these things for the website or something like that. I mean, I did make a bunch of content for the website, but it was just content while I was gone, not actual Japan content. So, but that was my trip. It was a good time though. I'm glad I did it. I did cut down on some of the photos there, but it was still a lot of photos. So anyways, I feel pooped after talking so long. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and go. But I still got to do more recording. So if you don't know, part of the reason why I feel pooped as well is because I've been literally recording videos and editing videos probably this entire holiday, for the 2020 video and review stuff. 2020 in review stuff that's going up next week. So there's basically going to be the podcast on Monday, 3 2020 year in reviews videos on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So one video each day. And then we do the stream on Thursday night. And yeah, so it's been busy. So I'm hoping the New Year holiday I'm going to actually take for myself more than anything. So I probably won't go too hard on the Valkyria Revolution video until after that holiday, because this Christmas holiday I've really just been working on stuff, which has been, I like working on stuff for sure. Although this stuff feels a lot more just kind of like filler content rather than it does like a real thing. So it's a little not super exciting to work on, to be honest, because it's just me talking to a camera usually. But yeah. Anyways, so we'll do the Smash Brothers stream next week. And then from there, we'll figure out what we're doing next. Thanks for coming. OneControlPro.com is the website. Yeah. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. You guys have a great night and enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. Bye.